Yo, what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. It's time, man. We're right there. Ruben Villa is right there. All right. He just won the NFC Championship game, and he's one fight away in winning the Super Bowl. And it looks like he's going to be going through the road of the WBC, and he's going to have to beat Esqueleto Ray Vargas. It's going to be tough, man, because from a stylistic matchup, Villa, much like Ray Vargas, they have the same mentality. And the thing is, Ray Vargas actually has a couple of advantages over Ruben Villa. Longer arms, taller in size, hand speed, and resume. Those are a couple things that you just can't deny. Ray Vargas did beat and outbox Mark Magsayo relatively easy. Yeah, he did get dropped once or twice. But aside from that, Mark Magsayo didn't really have anything going for him in that fight. My bad, guys. Shit, what the hell was I saying? Oh, yeah. Mark Magsayo didn't really have anything going for him in that fight. And I thought Ray Vargas just outboxed him with ease. Man, I put money on Mark Magsayo for that knockout. I thought he was going to knock Esqueleto out. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. The only downfall with Ray Vargas is, why did you go up to 130 after just being a champion at 126, after just barely moving up to 126, and then fight O'Shaquie Foster at 130? I thought that was the most ridiculous business decision maneuvering that I saw fighters. Well, honestly, it's quite common that Mexican boxers do that. See, they tried to do it with Emmanuel Navarrete. After just becoming a champion at 130, they offered him the Shakur fight at 135. Like, I'm fucking sick and tired of seeing our great Mexican champions either not land on the pound for pound list and then constantly have to just basically sell themselves short for another opportunity for a paycheck. You know, obviously Ray Vargas fought O'Shaquie Foster for a vacated belt, and pretty much, you know, Emmanuel Navarrete was going to do something similar to and with Shakur Stevenson. When I just feel like, from an outsider looking in, just make these guys become undisputed. But I digress. Let me go back to Ruben Villa, man. This is his second opportunity, and hopefully he learned from the Emmanuel Navarrete fight, right? Hopefully he learned from the Navarrete fight, and he becomes a champion against Ray Vargas. I like Ray Vargas a lot, man. You know, I remember, if I remember correctly, he had aspirations after boxing to become a film director. That was dope. When I was hearing that and reading that article and seeing that interview, I was like, bro, I like this dude. You know, maybe he can be like a boxer turned director like Alejandro Iñárritu. You know, for those that know that director, he's the one that made and filmed Birdman, Y Tu Mamá También, Amores Perros. Anyway, bro, I hate to see Ruben fight Ray Vargas, but if that's the way Ruben has to become a champion, I'm going to be rooting for my fellow Central Coast native from Salinas. Like, I just have to. Hopefully it happens, man. Hopefully it happens. Vince Vargas, good morning, man. Happy Sunday to you, brother. Villa looks sharp, even though he didn't buzz his opponent. How important or significant is that silver WBC belt he won last night? It's good to see Ruben with the belt and the WBC champion hat. I agree. So how important is it? It's very important in terms of the politics of the sport of boxing, right? It could also be quite misleading. But the best way that I can describe it to you is the job's not finished, right? It's kind of like the San Francisco 49ers beating, you know, the Detroit Lions and going to the NFC Championship and winning that game, right? Yes, you are a champion representing the NFC side, but you still got to beat the Kansas City Chiefs to become a Super Bowl champion, right? That's the best way I can describe it to you in terms of like American football terms, right? Ruben Villa is an NFC championship. Now he has to beat the real dude to become the Super Bowl winner, right? So this is basically a belt. You can kind of say like a participation trophy, right? But it's a placement that you're just right there in the second seed. And now you just have to beat one last dude to become a champion. But even if you do beat Ray Vargas, and I hope Ruben does, the job's not finished. Because in boxing, it's a little complicated, right? See, in most organized sports, there's one main trophy, right? If we're talking about hockey, you got the Stanley Cup, the World Series in baseball, NBA championship in basketball, and the Super Bowl for the NFL. When boxing, there's basically 4 Super Bowl winners, right? There's a guy that holds in a different league called the IBF, the red and gold belt. Then in the other league, it's the WBC, and other league is the WBO, and there's the black and gold belt, the WBA. So there's like basically 4 leagues all surrounding the sport of boxing. So once Ruben, and I'm crossing my fingers, he beats Ray Vargas, the job's not finished because you have to clean up the sport. And it starts by cleaning off your division. The best way to do that is to beat the other 3 champions. If Ruben were to be successful against Ray Vargas and collect the green and gold, right, the WBC, then you become undisputed. That pretty much solidifies you, right, as a Hall of Famer. Nobody can strip that from you. So Ruben is in a great position, to win a Super Bowl trophy, but it's though you have to be that dynasty. And how you be that dynasty is basically by unifying that division at 126 and beating the other champions. You're a bona fide Hall of Famer. You're a bona fide pound for pound fighter on the list. Like, they can't deny that, because becoming undisputed is very difficult. It's not easy. There's a lot of politics that you have to circumvent, pay these sanctioning fees, build up mega fights. It's not easy. And especially with a complicated defensive minded style, Ruben Villa, not a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to line up and then just hit this and box and beat this pillow fist because that's not going to happen. Ruben Villa is very crafty. He's very savvy. The best way that I can describe it is like he's like the Paulie Malignaggi of boxing of modern day, in the sense that he has to rely on every other skill that doesn't resort to power punching, right? He has to have a good jab. He's got to learn how to defend against the jab, defend against big punchers, have good footwork, have good IQ, and not get hit a lot, because he doesn't really pack that punch. If you guys remember correctly, from San Jose, California, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, excuse me, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, when he was coming up, he was competing at 126 pounds. He was very defensive and slick. He looked almost like, if you watch a Ruben Villa fight, you would think you're watching Robert Guerrero at 126. Then Robert retired for like 2-3 years because his wife was battling cancer. And, he came back and he moved up 2-3 weight divisions, and he fought Andre Berto at 147, right? He made Andre Berto have alien eyes. It was crazy. Inflammation on both of his, it was a badass fight, man. And then obviously Robert Guerrero ended up fighting Floyd Mayweather, got outboxed, only won 2 rounds. And then, but that's basically what Ruben Villa could become. Anyway, we take a couple steps back. So Ruben Villa won last night, and he puts himself in a prime position, another shot to become a champion, right? Because the first time in the bubble in 2020, 2021, he had to fight Emmanuel Navarrete, and things didn't really go extremely well for him at all. The first round, he got dropped by, a lazy uppercut that he didn't see coming off the southpaw, shoulder roll stance, and he got dropped. Just for a little recollection, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go. Boom. Right? It wasn't Navarrete's hardest punch. It was just a punch that Ruben didn't see coming, and he just got caught with it, right? Snapped his head. About 3 rounds later, Ruben's doing relatively well, and he finds himself again in trouble in the 4th round, and he gets dropped once again. Hellacious, that was bad. And then basically, it wasn't a great showing for Ruben. He had to basically resort to surviving tactics. But that's because we didn't really know how great Emmanuel Navarrete is. As we got to see, he pieced apart basically 11 rounds to 1 against Oscar Valdez. Had amazing fights versus that racist fighter, Isaac Dogbo. And like Emmanuel Navarrete is that dude, right? He's got his own style that he invented. The dude's just amazing. So you just got to give credit when credit is due. But look, man, Ruben can right all these wrongs and perfect it against Ray Vargas and become a champion. If he does that, that'd be a very dude. That'd be cool, man. We see if these guys are on. No, they haven't joined. Let me see. Warp Speed goes, good morning, Vince Vargas. I hope you are enjoying the day of the Lord. Vargas goes, salute Speed. At work now, but it's Sunday, so easy peasy. Yeah, man, similar. But yeah, man, it's a really good showing on the undercard. We also got to see Abdullah Mason, that young fighter right there, man. He's gonna be problems, right? Obviously, time is at his essence. He's got a lot of time to develop, and he's developing extremely well. He's very dangerous, very fast. Abdullah Mason is gonna be a problem, man. Especially at 135. Like, dude, that kid looks really good. Shit, that kid's really good, bro. Like, I can't even stress, like, in terms of his knowledge, right? He's studying from Shakur. He's got the pop, the speed, and the temperament of a Bud Crawford. All it just takes is time. If he just sticks to the process, he'll be a champion. I don't know when. I don't know who against who. I'm not saying that he can beat Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying that he can beat Tank Davis or the other champions at 135. But when, the dust settles and those fighters are moving up to 140, Abdullah Mason will be that dog at 135. Like, just hands down. Like, he's like the 5-tool player, right? He's got the speed, he's got the height, he's got the IQ, head, body. That dude's solid, bro. Like, anyway, man, it's crazy to see how far Ruben Villa has come, right? Because a lot of fighters, after taking that defeat against Emmanuel Navarrete, especially at a young age, you can lose sign of focus and start questioning yourself. And if I'm not mistaken, after Ruben Villa, right here in this picture, in this video, he's fighting Shakur Stevenson back in the amateurs. So it's been like 6 years, man, that I've been watching Ruben Villa, and even probably longer than that. But how do I explain it to you, man? Like, I'm glad that he didn't lose focus, because when he lost to Emmanuel Navarrete, I think he was inactive for 2 years, right? I think Thompson and Samson Boxing, they couldn't really give him a fight, or maybe there wasn't really any money. As we found out, like, Thompson, one of the owners of Thompson Boxing, that they would host their fights on the Facebook streams, he passed away not too long ago. So, probably Ruben was trying to, get out of his contract, sign with a bigger promoter. But, the promoter with Thompson and Samson Boxing, like, they just didn't have, dude, they're battling their own health, their own battle. They probably didn't have time to, sign and continue to focus on their fighters because, well, damn, bro, I'm dying. I'm at the hospital. But long story short, I think Ruben was shelved for like 2 years, and he came back against Horacio Garcia and pieced him apart in 5 rounds. And then he got that contract with Top Rank. So it's been a long time coming. The only thing, as we hopefully later down this year, maybe around September or so, he gets to fight Ray Vargas. The only question that I have against Ruben is, I don't really like his last 3 opponents. I'm not saying they're not good. Obviously, when you look at them on screen, they're pretty good. But if we compare his last 3 opponents versus Ray Vargas' last 3 opponents, I mean, Ray Vargas has fought O'Shaquie Foster. O'Shaquie couldn't drop him, let alone knock him out. He outboxed him, But we can easily say that wasn't Ray Vargas's. That's like his 3rd or 4th division. And he just barely moved up to 126, let alone leapfrogging and bypassing everybody at 130. Of course, O'Shaquie Foster was going to have the upper hand. And And then he also fought Mark Magsayo. And then he just fought that Frank Warren fighter, Nick Ball. Like, that's three tough opponents, punchers, right? As you saw the fight with Abraham Nova and Oshaki Foster, and then Rocky Hernandez in Tijuana versus Oshaki Foster. Like, Foster's a fucking dog. That dude's a beast. If we were to compare those fighters that Ray Vargas has fought recently, you can't. They're not comparable. So I'm saying, like, these are more or less some soft touches. This could be a backfall, a downfall of Ruben Villa. Um, but again, Ruben Villa's piecing these guys apart relatively with ease. I think in this fight, just pretty much beat him with a jab. I don't know if he can get away with beating Ray Vargas with a jab because Nacho Bedenstein. Now I have to look at Ray Vargas' last fight against Nick Ball because I don't think I really saw it. I don't know if Nacho Bedenstein is training Ray Vargas. I could be wrong. He might still be, but he used to be his trainer. For those that don't know who Nacho Bedenstein is, that's that legendary trainer that used to train Juan Manuel Marquez for all those Pacquiao fights. So are these guys in? Oh, look, these guys don't even say a word, and they're right here in the lobby. Yo, mic check real quick. Speed and Drew.
Hello. I'm just fucking with you. That's what I always say on this guy's podcast. But
Yo,
what's up,
what's
man?
going on, bro? How you been, man?
Chilling, man. Just woke up. I was surprised you were trying to go live. So I was like, man, of course I'm trying to go live. I was like, shit, it's like a once in a week opportunity. But
Once in a
yeah, man.
month.
Yeah, once in a month. But it's all good, man. It's a good time to like do it. So yeah, man. What's up, Speed? Speed, hello. Are you there? Nope. All right, cool. But yeah, no, it's good fights yesterday. You watch all the fights?
I watched a few. I didn't get
Okay.
to watch all of them. Watch Ruben Villa. I didn't watch the Jared Anderson fights. I think I might
Mm.
have missed the Abdullah Mason fight. I fell asleep, man. I was really exhausted Sunday. Not
Yeah.
that I say that, or Saturday. Not saying that I
Yeah.
had a really busy Saturday. It's just it was a lazy one. But
Yeah.
at that time, if it wasn't for my cousins for calling me and waking me up, I would have missed the
Yeah.
Ruben Villa fight.
Yeah.
So thank ESPN Plus that they have replay value, so I can always rewind the clock. But
Gotta love it.
what you think of the performance and yeah, man, what are your thoughts on that fight?
You're talking about the Ruben fight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it was a good fight. Ruben could have put him out, man. Ruben could have fucking took him out. I forget which round it was, but a handful of times, I felt like he had him hurt. He just couldn't. I think he was just playing the safe game again. I think he was like, hold on one second. Yeah, I think he was trying to figure. He wasn't trying to figure him out. He was just out jabbing the shit out of him, bro. And
Yeah,
that fucking jab is like world, world class. He's got a world class jab. And I think anybody is gonna have a hard time with that jab. Um, but yeah, he's a future world champ. I like his chances against Ray Vargas. It just depends who he faces next for that title. But if it's like some kind of like this caliber fighter, then I think for that world title belt, unless Ray Vargas like vacates it. I don't know why the fuck he would vacate it, but something happens. And if it's like a lower caliber fighter, then definitely. But it's still like 50-50 because Ruben Villas still got tagged, in that fight, and it was unnecessary, because he was able to close like figure out his distance and I think he was just playing with it. He was playing with his food in a sense, but
yeah,
he was he could have really like put him out. I feel like like he had his aggressive moments, and those moments right there is when he could have put him out when he was actually trading with him, and yeah, it's just when he like kind of like got relaxed. That's when he would get hit. And
yeah,
I mean, he did a good job. He did a good job overall. That jab was like really impressive, bro. Like I feel like he upped that jab. Like his jab definitely got better. It improved. So I'm like, hell yeah, like this guy's improving. I'm seeing improvements. So um or some more tools in his game, you know, because he's always had that footwork. It's always been there. It's just how he utilizes it, you know. So
Yeah.
I see more pop in his shot, and I like what I see, bro. I like his chances against the Ray Vargas too.
Is he beating Ray Vargas, bro?
It's a tough fight because Ruben lets go of like le- uh he gives up some rounds, and Ray Vargas is the type to take advantage of it, you know. And the way Chacal, whatever his name was, he was connecting. It wasn't like hard shots. He was just scoring points though, you know. And it was like one of those Navarrete shots, you know, that come from different angles and they're like unorthodox shots. And he's not intending to hurt him, but he's like definitely like winning the round type of shit because of that, you know. And I feel like Ray Vargas does that a lot, and he's more punch resistant. Um, I think Ruben can actually put him out, bro. But if
I don't
that's
think
a,
so, bro.
but I think he can out punch him. But I think Ray Vargas is going to be a tough one because he takes advantages of those rounds that you're slouching in. You
Yeah.
know, like you had to go all out round 1 to round 12, and he has the durability to go all the way, bro. Like he can actually go punch to punch with you, you know. And I feel like Ruben's got a stronger jab is the thing. You know, it's gonna
Yeah,
look a
for
lot.
sure.
It's gonna look a lot like a Nick Ball versus Ray Vargas fight, but I think Ruben has a little more length on him to where I think he's gonna pose some kind of challenge. I think I think Ruben's jab, bro, is gonna surprise a lot of people if that fight ever happens. You're gonna see Ray's head pop back a lot more than it did against than Nick Ball because he was missing shots. He's just a shorter guy, you know. So I think I like Ruben's chances honestly because I'm actually seeing improvements, and I know damn for sure he's gonna go all out for a world title shot, you know. So I like what I
I
see.
hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, bro. So, do you remember? I'm gonna mention a name. Asa Hovhannissian. Do you know who that is?
Asa Hovhannissian. Oh yeah, that's the guy who fought Shakur. Nah, I'm wrong, huh? I'm wrong. I don't know. Go ahead. I don't
All
know who
right.
that is.
So Asa Hovhannissian is a guy who fought Luis Neri last year, like around I don't know the first quarter of the year, like maybe February
Yeah.
of last year. He fought Luis Neri. It was a fucking barn burner, bro. He's an
Hmm.
Aegis Klimas fighter, and the reason I bring up his name is Ray Vargas fought that dude,
Hmm.
and he beat that dude. He's also beaten, Mark Magsayo. He's, had a draw against Nick Ball. He lost to Oshaki Foster. But the reason I bring these names is Ray Vargas has a pretty fucking good resume, bro. Like it's pretty good, bro. Like
But
I'm
it
not
just
saying
looks
it's like the greatest shit since sliced bread, but what I'm saying is
he's
like
not improving
they
his
don't
game
they don't
though.
give Ray Vargas enough respect because he looks funny. He
Yeah.
not the fan friendly style. It's not traditional,
Hmm.
but it's effective, right? And he's
Hmm.
like, let me ask you this, bro. Like, let's be honest here. Do you think that Ruben Villa could beat, Manny Pacquiao's fighter and Mark Magsayo?
Mm. Mm. I think yeah. It I think Ruben's jab is just like something to be aware of, bro. I think Mark Magsayo's a tough fighter because of his combinations. Um, that's a good fight though. That's a good fight. You know, I you said if he can beat him.
Yeah.
I don't think he can hurt him, but I think he can actually play the boxing game and actually outbox him for a couple rounds enough to like win some, you know? So yeah, I can see it happening. You? Sounds like you don't. Sounds like you. Don't- sounds like you don't think so.
I'll say this. I think also Ruben could outbox Mark Magsayo. I don't know if Ruben can hurt Mark Magsayo. To my
Yeah.
knowledge, there was this fucking crazy ass fight, bro. Um, and I think it might have been Mark Magsayo versus Brandon Figueroa. But there was this fighter that was throwing hella body punches to Mark Maxile, where Mark almost wanted to go down because it was fucking hurting him,
Oh
and
yeah.
he wouldn't, bro. So I know for sure that Ruben, like, I don't know if he can get it away with just throwing a jab or a couple of punches here and there to Mark Maxile, because Mark Maxile was gonna bring it, bro. That dude he's hella strong. He's very explosive. It'll be a tricky fight. With Ray Vargas, on the other hand, though, like if they were to have that same fighter, I was hella impressed with Ray Vargas, and I was extremely unimpressed on Mark Maxile's inability to cut off the ring. I remember this dude was bunny hopping, bro. He was bunny hopping like hop, hop, like a hopscotch.
What the
He
hell?
can cut off the ring against Ray Vargas. That's how perplexed he was. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
remember that? I'm gonna try to find it and see if I can find it on the
yeah, that's what I'm
YouTube.
talking.
I can show it to you guys.
He shows flashes of some like amateurish, like he shows amateur moves
Yeah,
sometimes,
like when I saw that from Mark Maxile, it was one of the most redonkulous things I've
Yeah.
ever seen in boxing, bro. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Like you
Like, I think
expect.
Freddie Roach was training him at the time, and I was like, yo, bro, let me see, Mark Maxile.
He was just trying to like he was like, fuck, man, how are you so good with your footwork? Like, is this how you do it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Mark Marcel's footwork has issues. So I think Ruben can take advantage of that because he has a jab, you know? But he ain't hurting him. But um I'm saying he's gonna definitely win some rounds. But now
Yeah.
Ruben, yeah, no, it's just I was impressed, bro. I was impressed because Ruben upped that jab. Like he definitely improved it, and I'm like, hell yeah. So hopefully he can step it up another notch, and depending on who he fights, I feel like he should still bring it. Yeah, man, I'm still rooting for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. I mean, I think from a stylistic matchup, like, I'm glad that Ruben is fighting Ray Vargas over, let's say, El Venado, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, because Venado, like, if Ruben beat him once, I know he can beat him again. But, like, in terms of when we talk about, just resume and experience,
Mhm.
Venado is beating some and knocking out dogs, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, this is a good, more stylistic, friendly matchup for Ruben to become and piece and outthink
Yeah.
and outbox essentially Ray Vargas. So this is what, like, I'm really extremely happy because Ray Vargas is not Emmanuel Navarrete. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
tall. Yes, he has long arms. And yes, from a speed standpoint, Ray Vargas does throw more combinations, in terms of linear punching than Navarrete, but Navarrete has that pop, bro. And it's like awkward. And those angles that he
Yeah.
throws, it's like lethargic, like in terms of being lazy with his shots. But like,
Yeah.
he makes it fucking work, bro, because like
Yeah.
Navarrete just knows how to fight, and there's really no rhythm to it. There's no like, oh, okay, like, dude, this dude will throw a gazelle uppercut from like 10 fucking feet away,
For real.
then throw a right hand just to reposition himself because he's off balance because he missed that uppercut, just to come back to circle on the left hook, and then next thing you know, he just covered like 10 feet, and you're
Yeah.
up against the ropes, and then that's when he starts throwing his flurries, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you can't really train from that. And
Yeah.
in Bernardo Lopez, he used to do similar things to that. So when Ruben fought him the first time, when they were both undefeated, more or less, Ruben Villa pieced them apart. And Bernardo still gave him a good fight because, you can see the wear and, inflammation and redness in Ruben's eyes. But Bernardo is not as polished then as he is now by knocking out the guys that he's been knocking out, like Michael Conlon, just to name a few, fighting guys like Joey Gonzalez. I'm very happy that Ruben went the WBC route or top rank,
Yeah.
repositioned him from the IBF rankings because Venado wasn't interested and
He
is not
wasn't.
interested in fighting Ruben Villa. He wants to unify or move up in weight. So, like, instead of just waiting for the IBF, to impose that mandatory,
Mhm.
and let alone maybe Venado just like relinquishing it, he gets that WBC shot against Ray Vargas. So I'm really happy because I think this is where Ruben could become a champion.
Yeah.
Yo, Speed, are you there, bro?
Yeah, he's in the lobby, he said.
He's in the lobby. Oh, so okay. I already invited him in,
Yeah.
but yo, yo, yo,
Wait, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, bro. What's
I can
good?
hear you.
Good morrow to the homie Ricky. Good morrow to Dream. Good morrow to the Mexican G. Good morrow to Mr. Vince Vargas and anybody that's out there in the airwaves listening in to one of the most highly anticipated lives that I personally have been looking forward to, because not only does it mean that homie Ricky is taking in guests so that we can discuss one of the most beloved things in our life, boxing, but also because it's a moment to celebrate and talk about the very first topic that kicked off the commentary and the development and growth of the sport that both Dream, the homie Ricky, and myself, Warp Speed, decided to partake about a year ago, which is we are addressing once again Ruben Villa, the fourth, Drac. We are coming full circle once again to talk about the man from the Salad Bowl who we decided to take up as our responsibility to really talk about the local sports scene, especially in the form of boxing over here in our beautiful city of Salinas, California. And here we are again at one of the highest moments in Ruben Villa the Fourth's career, one opportunity away from becoming a champion contender. He has just attained himself the secondary belt, the silver belt for the WBC, and we are now talking about how he may fare against men such as Mark Magsayo, Michael Conlin, Lee Wood, and of course Ray Vargas. Homie Ricky, I'd like to thank you for inviting us right here. I know that you've been on a hiatus. I'm sure that this is just a special occasion event. I hope that it is not, but it seems like you're in a crossroads, right? And that's okay. That's okay. I've taken up a little of that slack. In case you guys don't know, the Warp Speed has gone live. He is being co-hosted by none other than Dream. Yep, the gentleman with no thumbnail, no emoji for you. But anyways, I don't know what happened there. Usually he has something posted there as his
He's
icon.
looking for one. He's looking for one.
Yeah, he's looking for one. Okay, well, let me, if you don't mind,
My bad.
gentlemen, allow me to highlight what my icon is. Now, the icon that you have before me, that gentleman who's in a very colorful orange themed image there, his name is Artie and Dembo. Artie and Dembo is a heavyweight fighter from Uganda. Well, the same place that Francis Ngannou was from. And he was a fighter with an 8-0, 7 KO record. And this past Thursday, last week, not this one, a couple of days ago, but last week, he fought in Miami, state of Florida, for an up and coming promotional outfit that you can subscribe to for $8 a month. They are basically like a group of fighters that they pick and choose each fight. Then it seems like they take turns, they set each other up, and then they fight as a team, right? I forget what the venture is called. I think it's like a League Champions, something to that effect. But this young fighter right here, he was in a fight that lasted no longer than 1 round. And by the end of the round, when he was knocked out, he remained on the floor, limp and listless and immobilized for 10 minutes. They picked him up. He was immediately escorted to the hospital. And I lament to say that he is in a medically induced coma, placed in such a status as to avoid his brain from reacting like he should under
Ooh,
the kind of trauma that he sustained at the hands of a Puerto Rican fighter by the name of not Carlos Santana, but I think his name is Ruben Santana. Artie and Dembo I don't know what the news are so far, but I have been in contact with one of his former stablemates, a gentleman who I don't want to speak too much about because I've even though he says he will be interviewed by us at the Warp Speed Live with Warp Speed show, I still don't want to go into the particulars because I do want to have him in control of anything that he is going to state with regards to his relationship with Artie and Dembo. But needless to say, he knew the man closely. They were they lived together. They fought in the same gym, were promoted by the same fellas, and he left because of what seemed unnecessary harm being exposed to them. Long story short, he wants to tell a story, and I'm okay with that.
Hold on, time. Why do you?
Time when we're talking about a man's story and about a man's harm where he's in critical condition, you want to time me at that moment, homie
Yeah,
Ricky? I mean, come on now.
because this. One is this is off topic. Now I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be insensitive, but it's off topic, right? And this is something that usually you should start off in the beginning of a video of its own self. This is gonna get lost in translation because I don't know, me and Drew have been talking for I don't know 10, 15, 20 minutes. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah. I get what you're saying, but if anybody asks why I brought up the lack of icon on Dream, but
you know
yet
what I'm gonna
I
say on
point
top.
out mine, they have to understand why I chose my icon. I always like to explain why I select the icon that I do. Right?
Yeah, you
I'm
look like a
doing it
rich guy
in
with a Porsche.
I'm doing it in honor and to shed light on something that is very meaningful to me, which is the respect that we should give these fighters because of the valor that they display in taking up this most extreme and dangerous of sports, right? And I apologize, homie Ricky, if I decide to rob you of 2 3 minutes to discuss something besides Ruben Villa, where you guys have already talked about it for 20 minutes. That's crazy.
No, it's not. It's not about needing to apologize. It's two things. One, it's like it's something you have to like build up, not just like interject randomly because it's gonna get lost in translation. It's like when we talk about when we go on 3 4 hour long and you guys talk about 40 different topics when they could have been their own standalone videos. You have to understand that you know what the importance of staying on cue because it gets lost in translation. So you're minimizing the impact of your message, believe it or not. But yeah, I just wanted to let you be aware of that because it feels like after 6 months of doing this, you still don't understand. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
I actually disagree with you, homie Ricky. In fact, the fact that you pointed out how disruptive it was to bring up that topic just leads me to believe that I have been successful in shedding light to something that would otherwise not be considered. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, long story short, like I said, I'm gonna be discussing this on live on my show. So please, if you've not followed on Live with Warp Speed, please go over there to Warp Speed. Occasionally visit it. I have a lot of stupid reaction videos where I act like a clown because this is what this sport does for me. It gets me overly hyped and excited like a child, and that's okay.
so
But
Drew, since speed doesn't stay
he
on
just
cue,
hopped off.
oh, he just hopped off. Oh man, I gotta talk to you. Gosh.
Yeah, but let's talk about Ruben Villa. So, Ruben Villa. So, homie, uh, one of my buddies hit me up. Right, he as soon as the fight was over, he hit me up, and this guy is a casual boxing fan. You know, the people that really matter, right? To some extent, because those are the people that can still fall in love with the sport or get turned off by the sport. And he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, you must be super happy." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Well, because Salinas, California, has a champion now." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Yeah, I saw Ruben Villa, the fourth, with the green strap, WBC." And I had to go through that conversation where I had to like sort of deflate that balloon and say, "Look, man, it's like this. He can be a champion at a vacancy. As far as right now, he's the next guy in line. Like you said, it's a either a placeholder title or he just won the NFC championship, but he still has the big fight before him, right? And he was just perplexed. He couldn't get past the part that Ruben Villa had a belt. So of course I had to give him this whole rundown, historic thing of why there's even secondary belts. I had to tell him how there's trinket belts, but I told him at the end of the day, it means a lot because that recognizes that somebody climbed up there and is now the man in line. And in the sport where anything happens, where people walk away from the sport because they can't make weight, they'd rather duck a fighter than and go to another place to fight. They'd rather move up in weight because they want to test themselves. I told them that in essence, that belt right there can become the actual championship, right? So it was just one of those things that, you know, it was a good opportunity to educate an individual on how the sport of boxing works, but it's still something to cherish and something to value, right? Because if we look into Ruben Villa's history, the man has arguably had a draw, and in some cases, maybe you can say that he beat one of the most toughest fighters in the sport right now. A guy who does not get any kind of recognition, and he should, in fact, be a pound for pound fighter, and Emmanuel Navarrete, El Vaquero. He also beat a fighter that is currently a champion, and in El Venado, right? And now he has another shot at becoming a champion against somebody like Ray Vargas. Would you not say that that is something that should be commended and recognized on Ruben Villa's part?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I agree. Now let me ask you something, because this is the one thing that I couldn't. It was hard for me to explain to him. Um, Ruben Villa, he took on a banana peel last night. A banana peel that only exposed him to being deranked, exposed him to a necessary peril of loss that would not have either padded his career. Well, padded, yeah, because if anything, he adds another number to his record. But otherwise, he fought a fighter that had no name recognition, was low ranked. There was not a lot of fights, if any, footage out there. And it turns out that Chacon is a sparring partner, an occasional sparring partner to Naoya Inoue. Now, when you put all of those things together, you start saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did he take on a fight when there's other men that will provide him name recognition, that there are rewards for the risk, that you can still beat? It'll help you climb up the rank and get you more money. Why did Ruben Villa decide to fight this guy with no name that does nothing for his career, except, of course, expose him to so much consequence if he lost to that guy? Can you explain why Ruben Villa took that fight? Because I can't, and he didn't understand.
I don't either. Like I would, I'm not saying Chacon isn't a good fighter, but I'm just
It was
saying
good.
like I've never heard of him, So in terms of like the ranking system, like I don't understand how, you can basically fight. I don't know, bro. I can't answer that question. You would have to talk to, Mr. 559, and you would have to talk to Bob and Aram and their company, because I can't give you that answer, bro. Like,
Now, at any moment in that fight, homie, could you have seen Ruben lose?
Nah, not
Nope.
really.
The guy was durable.
I mean, like if there was like, for example, if you were to ask me like, did I ever see Ruben in a position like I saw him against Emmanuel Navarrete? No, I couldn't tell you, because like no, not at all. Because against Navarrete, I can be like, damn, I don't know how Ruben survived that after that fourth round knockdown.
Hmm.
I didn't see nothing of that from Christian Chacon,
Hmm.
and it's one of the most like interesting things, like kind of like when you were asking that question about his opponent in terms of like why would Ruben choose him? I don't think Ruben chooses his opponents. The matchmakers, whoever that is for top rank, they're the
Mm.
one that selected Chacon. And another thing
Hmm.
is like my contention is what I'm saying is this is like when I compare resumes between Ray Vargas and Ruben Villas, like Chacon is rated like in the top 70,
Yeah.
where Ray Vargas has like he fought an undefeated guy named Nick Ball, then Oshaki Foster, then undefeated Mark Magsayo. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a fucking lineup, bro. And like Nick Ball is a top 5 fighter. Where
Hmm.
Ruben Villa, he's placed in the top 10, but he ain't beating or eliminating other top 10 fighters.
Hmm.
You get what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he didn't beat a Joey Gonzalez. He hasn't beaten, an Isaac Dogbo who's in the top 20. So it's
Hmm.
like it makes me wonder, like, yes, I'm extremely happy for my fellow, guy from Salinas, but I'm like, I'm a little nervous
Yeah.
because, as the saying goes, iron sharpens iron. Ruben
Hmm.
Villa hasn't been matched tough or difficult matchups since Navarrete,
Yeah.
and maybe
Yep.
Top Rank is building. Maybe they see something that we don't see behind the scenes when Ruben spars guys like Devin Haney, when Ruben spars guys of their higher caliber. Maybe they see something that we don't, which leads them to like match him up softly and play the political game in terms of matchmaking and getting him in the prime position for an interim belt. But that
Hmm.
doesn't install confidence in me. Like, okay, I'm gonna drop 1,000 because I know hands down Ruben's going to beat Ray Vargas. Or
Yeah.
conversely, if you were to tell me a guy like Abdullah Mason is going to be fighting Ray Vargas, I'd be like, I'm dropping money on Abdullah. You get me? Like
Yeah.
that's
No,
like the
but
distinction.
yeah, the only thing that I would disagree with that is when you compare the fighters that Mark Masayo, that Ray Vargas took on. You obviously mentioned Nick Ball and Mark Masayo and all of those things. I mean, we shouldn't compare those kind of fighters that Ray Vargas has access to because of obligation or demand for those fights to what Ruben Villa is right now. Because Ruben Villa is he's a contender, right? Those guys are champions. They have to fight those kind of fights, right? In the case of Ruben, he doesn't have to, right? Because he's not a champion. Now, it's proven with the fights that he last took 3 in a row with mostly no names, or
Time.
no names to me. You know, uh, there, but we could better
But
compare them to his contemporaries who are contenders like Nick Ball. Look who Nick Ball fought.
but
He
what do you
just fought
mean?
Isaac Dogbe
But what do
right
you mean
before
that
he fought
Ruben?
Ray
That's what
Vargas.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. Nick Ball had to fight a top 10, top 15 fighter in Isaac Dogbe to get to Ray Vargas. I'm
Yes.
saying that Ruben hasn't fought that Isaac Dogbe. He's
Uh
fighting
huh.
one who's in the top 70. And I'm thinking
Yes.
to myself, like, how do you fight a top 70 fighter to get a mandatory spot? That doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me that you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
beat
Yeah.
a guy like Nick Ball to get to Ray Vargas. It's like Ruben, in essence, is cutting in line. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where in the other words, when he fought Navarrete the first time, he had to beat Venado Lopez, a damn near undefeated fighter, a tough fighter, who, as we know
Hmm.
now, that he's an amazing fighter.
Hmm.
Then I'm more confident in Ruben then than I am kind of right now because I'm like, I don't know, bro. They're kind of putting on the baby gloves for you to get you in this position to get a champ. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 And actually, that's
It's
what my
nervous
buddy.
right there.
That's the part that my buddy didn't really understand. He's like, wait, like he was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. It seems like you're criticizing Villa for taking on the easier fighters
No, I'm
that are.
criticizing the matchmaker, bro, because
No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I didn't tell him that because I didn't even have. But he thought that I was criticizing Ruben and Villa because the way that he saw it is like, why risk it? Why would you not take a couple of softer touches for some quick money? And I was like, because that's not the kind of soft touch that you take on, right? Like there's softer touches than the guy that he just fought, believe it or not, right? Like for example, if you were to say a former contender, almost champion, a guy who's only lost his championship fights, and Mick Condon versus the feisty fighter that Villa just fought. I would say that Chacon is a better fighter that has better odds at beating Ruben Villa at this moment than Mick Condon, who's lost three out of his last five, right, and who's been losing by knockout in some early rounds now, right? Um,
But
so
why do you
so
think
it's
that's happening to
well,
Nick Collins?
because to Mick Condon, well, pretty much because he's already he's been in those type of fights that have already forced him to be chinny, right? He's now changing his fighting style. His legs have gone out on him. He's now a little more daring do, and it's one of those things like where you get touched and then the damage is permanent, right? You're
Let me
always
ask you this. Let me let's not get too specific in detail. Let's make it a little easier. Okay.
uh,
Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. He
mhm.
had like 44-0 record. And he had a bunch of soft touches. I think his toughest opponents were, in my opinion, Jesse Hart, who was a really good fighter from Philadelphia. But without getting too detailed into his resume, when Zurdo finally stepped up into somebody that people knew in Bivol, how good did Zurdo look like against Bivol?
Okay, so what you're saying is Mick Condon has never fought in any good people. That's why when he's
No,
faced with the real ones,
worry about Mick Conlon. Worry about Ruben Villa.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But what you're trying
hold
to
on,
put
hold
that into the
on.
same.
So what I'm saying is Zurdo had a record of 44-0. If I were to tell Vince or if I were to tell you, who did Zurdo beat? And why did we give him a lot of confidence that he would beat Bivol, who easily beat Canelo?
Yeah.
You can't name me one person other than Jesse Hart.
Nope.
Maybe you can name me Sullivan Barrera, but I can't even tell you if he fought him before he fought Bivol or after Bivol.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you with tough and easy matchmaking. Same thing with Jaime Munguia. Why was Jaime Munguia fighting similar fighters like Jimmy Kelly and struggling with him? And then by the time that you step him up against a Canelo, is Jaime going to give Canelo good work or not? A lot of people would be like, he's not going to give him no good work because, like, who has he fought? Same thing could be said. Damn, bro, what the fuck is going on with my voice?
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily a good comparison because what you're alluding to is that Mick Condon, when he's faced durable name recognition and guys that have some acclaim, some accomplishments, he is displayed to be the inferior fighter who's never been in a position to win those type of fights anyways because quote unquote he's never fought anybody of note, right? But in the case of Ruben Villa, it's not the same situation because he has fought in guys that are accomplished and he's arguably drawn and beaten them. And again, El Venado and El Vaquero, right? So the thing is this: Ruben Villa is obviously a step above Mick Condon because he's performed better and beaten former current champions or and lost to a current three division pound for pound fighter in Navarrete. So it's not a simple comparison. But what I'm saying is, in the case of Mick Condon, it would behoove Mick Condon to start taking easier fights. In the case of Ruben Villa, you don't do the step back. You take on the better fighters because you're ready for them. You've proven it by the fights that you have had at the championship level, where you have beaten those guys that are now champions, or at least had a draw with them. You see what I'm saying? So
okay. So wait. So this is where I think you and me are parting from here is because it goes like this. What I'm saying is what happened to Michael Conlon might just be happening to Ruben Villa is that you try to protect these fighters. So when the time comes to put them against a champion, they come up short. And this is where my contention goes with Max Garcia. All of his fighters, and he's done a great job to put these fighters in that position to become champions, but they fall short on that championship fight. Eloy Perez, when he fought Adrian Broner, he got knocked out in 4 rounds. Okay? Paul Mendes, El Gallo Negro, freaking Manuel Tino Avila against Jojo Diaz. Some similar happened to Ruben Villa against Emmanuel Navarrete. And you can go up in those fights. And if you were to check the resumes before they had that title fight, more or less they had soft touches. when you soft touch and you make them political maneuvers to matchmake to get you in that prime position, they come up short is because we don't have enough sample size against top fighters. See, Ruben Villa, in my opinion, put it like this. I showed a clip of him and Shakur Stevenson, right? They started fighting in the amateurs. They're the same age, roughly. Shakur is a 3-time champion. And yes, he didn't look, and he ran for dear life against Edwin de los Santos, but that's his 3rd or 4th weight class. Ruben's still residing in that same weight class. Now, I'm not comparing fighters in terms of, like, oh, Shakur is that much greater than Ruben Villa. Obviously, resume and accomplishment speaks volumes to that, so we don't really have to make that comparison. But that's what I'm saying is there's leaps and bounds where Shakur has already accomplished, where Ruben Villa is barely getting there. Now, here's the question. I'm not saying that it's not about, oh, well, this guy made it at, became a champion at 20, then you become a champion at 28. No, it doesn't matter how you get there, is that you get there. This is Ruben's second opportunity to get there. Now that you are there, I just wish that you had fought in an Isaac Dogbo or a Joel Gonzalez yesterday rather than Chacon, a 70 fighter, so I can easily know, like, fuck yeah, we got Ray Vargas in the bag. I'm not saying Ruben can't beat Ray Vargas. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you start lining up every single detail that we know about history, we just got to be very, very objective here, right? In terms of being very honest with ourselves. Of course, we want our boy to win and become a champion, become unified and undisputed. But there's other factors that we have to weigh in, not just betting with our heart, but, betting with what we know and not be blinded, by our filters that's our boy. You get me? But I think
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. My bad.
Yo.
My uncle from Oregon called me, and I rarely talk to him, so I had to get on the phone real quick. Sorry, guys.
Gotcha. Now you go, bro.
No. Yeah, of course, homie Ricky. But see, look, the way that I see it is this: Eloy Perez was never as good as fighter as Ruben Villa.
He was good,
right?
bro.
He was good. He had a good Nick Ball type fight.
No.
Right?
Hell
yeah,
no,
he was a come forward aggressor. He was knocking everybody out. I watched like 5 of his fucking sorry about the curse words. I watched about 5 of his fights, I think even live, where all he did was come forward and knock people out in minutes.
Eloy Perez was a Paulie Malignaggi, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, perfect comparison.
He was no knockout artist. Eloy Perez was like a Paulie Malignaggi. Nice jab, good boxing intellect, good footwork. Dude, I don't know what the hell is going on with my similar to Manuel Tino Avila when he fought Jojo Diaz. Good jab, good footwork, good defense, kind of like an Andy Vences from San Jose.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm so old.
I know, but that's why I'm here to piece things together, bro. Just so
right. Yeah. Hey, tell them about how you corrected me about what I said about Ruben. I described him as a silver medalist. Oh my goodness.
This guy called it. Hold on. You need to go back and change it. You need to go back and change it again because you put Olympic contender. I'm like, you never went to the Olympics.
No. But he contended for them.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Ruben Villa got disqualified. Ruben Villa was beat to making the Olympic team fighting Shakur Stevens.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So that's a contender, though.
No,
that's a contender.
What you mean to say is alternative.
Yeah,
Olympic alternative.
Exactly. He was an Olympian alternative. So, for instance, if Stevenson were to get injured and he would have to withdraw before the competition started.
So what you're saying is that I described them erroneously, and then I corrected my error, and I was still mistaken.
Yep.
Oh my God! Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, rip Eloy the Prince Perez, absolutely.
Man. Rest in peace, Eloy Perez.
Yeah,
man. I
absolutely.
got to see him here, and he was fighting at the. Not the Constitution. Yeah, the sports complex.
At the Rodale.
At the Rodale, man. And yeah, man. It's just fucking time flies.
The last time.
I still remember that. Fight against that he had with Broner. I think we saw him spar at the Rock. I could have sworn that he was there one time. And yeah, man. It's just good to see
I seen him spar in person.
Dude, you just always want to root for your stablemate, so to speak. But you also
Yeah.
got to be really realistic too, because it's all about putting yourself in that prime position to not just be in that position, but to win. I mean, fuck, if you made it this far, just fucking win. And
Yeah.
yeah, he just came up short a little bit. Failed the drug test against Adrian Broner, and
Yeah.
Adrian Broner still pieced him apart, man. But
Yeah.
the nerves, bro. I mean, I'm not. We know it's tough. We know it's tough.
Yeah.
But this is not a sport where we make excuses. The other dude is training just as hard as you're training. He's sacrificing just as hard as you're sacrificing. And at the end of the day, the chips, they fall.
Yeah.
You just gotta buckle up and fucking enjoy the ride. And sometimes it takes you really long, but hopefully Ruben, like I said, he pieces things everything together, and it comes alive that night against Ray Vargas. Because I'm sure that's what's gonna happen. Hopefully Ray Vargas goes like, yeah, I'll box Ruben, and that's what we get to. But
You
I
know
got one
what, homie
question.
Ricky? I think I might just reach out to Mr. 559, Mr. Rick Meridian, and just ask him. Just ask him what is
Rick
gonna be
Merrigan.
of Ruben Vill. Well, I'm Mexican. Come on, I'm
Yeah,
Mexican
but I know,
American.
but imagine.
it's simple. You don't have to ask the insiders anything because, like, dude, he has a WBC interim belt. Why
Yeah.
would he get himself pay that sanctioning fee to get into that position, right? And then just go fight the
Yeah.
WBA champion? It doesn't make sense. Like, he's going to the Ray Vargas route. Now, the question that you can ask Rick Merrigan is, how much money is it going to take to get Ray Vargas? When is the fight going to happen? That's the only two questions that you need to ask Rick. And the
Whoa, wait! Before you go on, how much is it gonna take? Did you say how much is it gonna take
to get Ray
to
Vargas?
get Ray? Wait! Is Ruben's team supposed to make the offer?
I'm not saying that he's supposed to make the offer, but you're supposed to present a case for yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
But he has the secondary belt. He's next in line. How is he supposed to present a case? Oh, he has to make us his mandatory demand.
Because of that exact same reason, because he has to enforce his mandatory position, which means, dude, I want to fight you. What's it gonna take? How do we build this fight? Where do we allocate this money? Where do we find this money? Who's gonna front this money? And when can we get this fight realistically happen? What's the condition of your fighter? Is he hurt? Is he going through anything? Are you interested in this fight? What are your plans? All that stuff. And that's what you have to present. You have to ask questions. You can't just go in there and just think, oh, Ray Vargas is going to chase after the B side. No, the B side has to
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You know how this works.
No.
Yeah,
no.
No, hold on. It's a pretty obvious
logic, bro. Logic.
Yeah,
it's 75-25 split, guys. There's not much to talk about.
What do you mean?
There's a lot to talk about.
How so?
Yeah.
The champion has a 75% split. Plus, that's it.
Hold on. That's if the champion plays hardball. But if he understands his position, if the champion understands his position, he can play hardball and be like, yeah, you're only getting 25% split. But that's why you negotiate. And if that can be made and be like, nah, dude, our fighter's pretty popular. We can sell out venues. You're all over the place. Yes, you are a champion. Yes, you've 3-time division. Like, look. Really, Ruben doesn't have any leverage in terms of Ray Vargas, in terms of the negotiation table. So if the split is 75-25, that's one of the sacrifices that Ruben is going to have to make, take 25% of that money, because it's not really about the money right now. It's for you to become the champion. Flip the tables on Ray, and then boom, then you can do 75-25 on the rematch clause, if possible. That's just what you have to do. So, for example, if Rick Merrigan and company at Top Rank, they have $1 million for that fight, 75% goes to Ray Vargas. The other 250K is going to go to Ruben. That's still a lot of money. And it's about the gold, bro. It's about the gold. It's about the fucking golden chalice and the fucking crown. So that's what he's going to have to do. Like, the conversations, if you were to call Rick, it's the same thing. Like, he can't really tell you anything then that we don't already know.
Yeah. But I know the Villa camp will take it, because when they fought Emmanuel Navarrete for that vacancy at 126, the purse was made. Somebody won that purse. It was Top Rank, obviously, and it went for 170,000. 60% for the winner. So obviously 60% is what Vaquero Navarrete took. But Ruben Villa bet on himself, took that fight. Obviously, back then, even though there was rumors and some good fights out there of Emmanuel Navarrete to indicate what a threat he was, nobody would expect him to be the threat that he is now. After having proven himself against that fighter, and then Robson Conceição and Oscar Valdez and Liam Wilson, right? But yeah, I know that given the opportunity, they'll make that fight happen, right?
Yeah, it's
And
obvious. Bro.
I know Ray Vargas is gonna make that fight happen. Here's the
Yeah,
thing, though: can Ray Vargas walk away because he just made millions in Saudi?
Wait, he fought Nick Ball in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
yeah,
Damn, yeah, man. See, this is what
yeah.
I'm saying, bro. This is like the bad thing about Saudi is that you overpay these fighters. Well, I don't know what they got paid, but I can imagine
A
they
lot.
paid Lou Vargas the most amount of money he's
Yeah.
ever made because, like, that's Frank Warren's pull over there in Saudi Arabia in terms of his fighters. That's why all of Frank Warren's fighters are fighting.
What if
Over.
Ruben fights in Saudi? Oof.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think, I don't know, bro. I don't know if Saudi Arabia would be interested in, they look to be interested in big fights. And I don't know if Top Rank has made a standalone fight without, Frank Warren in terms of Tyson Fury.
I'm trying to think, but I don't find. I'm trying to think, and I can't find one.
Yeah, because again, you have, a Jewish promoter in Top Rank against a Muslim, in Saudi Arabia. Like that takes. Those factors are there. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to give you $1 billion, to Bob Arum. Like, nah,
Yeah,
bro.
you would think, guys, but that's not really the case. Saudi and Israel, Saudi Arabia and Israel actually never really mess with each other.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I was just saying like what if there's other dudes that got an opportunity, but that's right. I'm thinking of it. I'm not fully educated as far as like how they run their business. I thought Bob Arum had some of his fighters on Saudi Arabia cards.
I think he's only had Tyson Fury, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
gotcha,
now he's going to have Artur Beterbiev, but
gotcha.
like he's not even Artur Beterbiev's main promoter. Like there's a
nope.
Canadian establishment. So he's like a
Yeah,
subsidiary. I don't know, or like just, I don't know, bro.
Eye of the
Okay.
Tiger or something like that.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
hopefully it happens later on this year. Maybe like on
I hope,
on a,
man. I
you know.
hope because it'll be really. It's gonna be really exciting to see if Ruben can become a champion and get
Okay,
it
let
right.
me ask you, gentlemen, then, who wins?
Well, you said that already.
You did?
I did.
No, you said right. Ruben would have a heck of a jab and he'd surprise everybody. And I'm trying to tell you, really, do you know anything about Ray Vargas's jab? I mean, he kept this pit bull Nick Ball at bay, and in fact, a lot of people are saying
He's
that
small.
fight, yeah. So the jab doesn't change anything. Like you think all of a sudden, Ray Vargas's jab is gonna get shorter, because Ruben Villa is taller? No, the jab is still gonna be there, and the height is still gonna be there. Ray Vargas. Here's the thing: Ray Vargas can dig deep. Like Ray Vargas can brawl too. He proved it against Nick Ball. Like Ray Vargas is not a soft touch, guys. Easier than Navarrete. Easier than
Who's favored? Who do you think's favored?
Ray Vargas.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I
Who do you
think
think
so.
would be favored?
Bro, I don't know, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, look, obviously I'm gonna put money on my boy Ruben.
Yeah,
Let's keep it a buck. We're not talking about who we
But
want to win. We're trying to say,
that's what I'm saying. If we're going based on resume and who they fought in their last couple of opponents, right? And how they've looked against the last couple of opponents and in placement, Ray Vargas is battle tested. Ray Vargas has been there before. He actually has came through on times to become a champion when he was the underdogs at times as well. And guess what, bro? Like, our boy Ruben has came up short. But just because he came up short then doesn't mean he can't get it right now. So obviously he's the underdog against Ray Vargas, bro. He has to be. There's just no way that you can favor him. I will say this. I think Ruben has a better jab than Ray Vargas, but it's not that much of a better jab. I think Ruben will have a little bit of problems finding Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas is not there to stand. He doesn't stand in the
he
pocket.
moves.
He's moving. He's circling. He escapes. He pulls back with his hands up and his head up in the air like an amateur. He's not there. He's almost like an Arizlandi Lara of Mexican boxing, Ray Vargas. Gonna go in there with his shots, boom, 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 and then pull back out. That's it. That could be very tricky when he's taller and he has longer arms than Ruben Villa. So it's gonna be tricky, bro. It's gonna be tricky. Can Ruben solve the puzzle? I mean, I'm willing
Yeah.
to bet and find out. You feel me?
Is it going the distance?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that Ruben hasn't it's like this, not to be mean, but when you watch a Ruben Villa fight, you've seen them all. And what I mean is he stays very calm in the pocket, in the pressure, little slight movements here, parrying shots, deflecting shots here, but it's always going to be a jab, a 1-2. Sometimes he'll occasionally throw a hook to the body, sometimes upstairs. But what you may call it, when you see a Ruben Villa fight, you've seen them all, almost kind of like he's in cruise control. Right? The only time that he really wasn't in cruise control was against Emmanuel Navarrete and Venado Lopez, where he had to really dig deep. And Navarrete, he never really showed you that he can circle around and survive. He had to do that in Navarrete. He didn't do that against Venado Lopez. So like I said, once you've seen one Ruben Villa fight, you've seen them all. It's just, what is the other fighter going to do to counteract Ruben Villa's, jab, and it's kind of like his southpaw shoulder roll and catching and parrying Chris Bird style. I don't know what Ray Vargas is going to do. To that point, I don't think Ray Vargas has fought many southpaws.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I Mark Magsayo, Nick Baugh, or Shaki Foster, Azat Hovhannissian, I think they're all orthodox fighters.
In the WBA. Do you think a fight with Ruben Villa being at top rank, if his contract extended, obviously, do you think it's easier for him to make a fight with Ray Vargas, who's still being advised by Mr. Al Heyman and being promoted, at least for the time being, with the PBC, instead of, let's say, fighting somebody like his stablemate, Rafael El Divino Espinosa, or even a fighter that he's formerly beaten, and El Venado Lopez? Do you think he could just take one of those fighters for a belt? I mean, he doesn't have to fight for the WBC. He can always just hold on to that.
So you're saying that he should pull a Ryan Garcia instead of fighting Devin Haney? Just be like, you're a champion, I'm a champion, right?
Well, he's in line for every. He can fight. No. He can fight other champions who are easier fights to make.
Ruben Villa should fight Ray Vargas. Okay.
Yeah.
He should fight Ray Vargas. I hope he beats Ray Vargas, because what comes after that is maybe a fight versus Robeisy Ramirez, a unification against Venado Lopez, who he already beat.
And then guess what?
Raymond Ford. Those are good ass fights for Ruben Villa.
And then guess what? Gets the belt. That's a fucking world title bout check right there. Like, that's different money right there, bro. Like, he gets to change his life, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Ray Vargas is not the only champion accessible to him. In fact, Ray Vargas is the hardest fight to make, even though he's the next in line.
But
He
that's
could
the
fight
route.
El Divino. He
But
could
that's
fight
the
El
route.
Divino. No. Why would it be the route when PBC is one of the hardest promoters to make cross promotion fights with? He could fight the biggest underdog of last year, which is El Divino Espinosa, the guy who beat Robeisy Ramirez.
He's
We don't
really
have to
similar.
think.
He's really similar to Ray Vargas.
Yeah,
Too. Like,
I know.
he's really similar to him. So that's what he's tough. He's a tough dude, bro. Like, he was undefeated as well. Like, I think obviously Ray Vargas is a lot better, but I'm saying they both got like the same type of heart, And Ruben's not the type to like put people out on their feet, and turn them off, Like, he's the type to take you the rounds and break you down. And he did that against a dude. As far as the Spars or Spinoza, I mean, he went the distance against a dude like Robeisy, bro, who's a two-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yep.
So that's no slouch right there either.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Ruben, the world right now is opened up to whatever he wants to do. If Ruben wants to wait to see if they can figure out a way to negotiate with Ray Vargas, who's obviously going to be bringing that Saudi money, who's obviously going to be in a position to say 75-25 against Ruben. he can also
So
take on a fight where the odds, where the fight will be easier to negotiate, who will still be for a belt. And El Espinosa, he can also
okay,
ask the same thing of Raymond Ford, even though that's a little harder because I think he's with Matchroom.
what?
But he
I,
could also ask for the Venado, who's at top rank.
okay, so I got
Listen,
one. Go ahead.
all
Go
roads
ahead.
start and end with Ray Vargas. If Ruben beats Ray Vargas, it's gonna start all those unification fights that he had with Venado Lopez. Then he can cross overseas and try to make another unification with Raymond Ford. But look, Espinoza, top
Mhm.
rank, right? Because he beat
Yeah,
Roberto Ramirez. Venado
yeah,
Lopez, top rank. Ray
yeah.
Vargas, I don't even know who Ray Vargas is with.
PBC.
Oh, he's with PBC.
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is. It starts and ends with Ray Vargas. If he beats him, boom, brings that home back to top rank, unifies with all three of those dudes, then we're cooking,
Yeah,
right?
But
Then he can fight Raymond Ford at the very end. Look,
but why does
it's
he
not
have to? Why do you say
bro,
it all starts and ends with Ray Vargas?
bro, do you not know the belt that he was holding on last night?
yeah.
Yeah, but do
So
you
then
do
why are
you
you
not
asking me
understand?
these
Do you
questions?
not understand? I'm trying to tell you. I'm not sure what part of what I'm telling you you guys are completely glossing over or ignoring. I'm saying Ruben is already top 5 for any of the other belts. He
But
can
look,
fight
he's
any of them.
yeah, no, but he's been the promoter's been putting money into the WBC sanctioning body, and WBA and the other sanctioning bodies are like they're invested in the WBC, not us. Why
Like
are we
also,
gonna
What?
also
go ahead?
put it like this. So Ruben had the green interim belt yesterday. Why didn't he show up with the IBF interim belt or the WBO?
Because he doesn't have interims.
That's not how it works, Germ.
But what I'm
That's
saying
not
is
how it
the
works.
WBA does have. They have regular and the super champ. The
But he doesn't
WBO,
have those though.
the WBO gives you those little belts as well. So what I'm trying to say is this: he repping the green and gold WBC, like Vince Vargas. He was repping the WBC hat and belt, and it was good to see. Why you keep trying to throw this other variable that he's top 5 everywhere? I don't
Yeah,
know if he's top 5
Oh, you
that's
everywhere
not
guys are
because
wow.
that's that's not how it
Are you
works though.
guys dense? Are you guys
listen,
dense?
listen. We don't
Look,
know. Hold on. We don't know if Ruben Villa is top 5 everywhere. If I
I'm
check,
looking at it right now.
is he
Ruben Villa is number 2 for Brandon Figueroa. He's number 2 at the let me see. This is the WBC. Ray Vargas. The interim is Brandon Figueroa, unless he obviously just
Never know.
vacated. So Ruben is there. Now let's go on to the WBA. Ruben at the WBA is oh yeah, no, he's number 13. So he doesn't have WBA access to him. He has access as the 10th ranked fighter versus Luis Alberto Lopez, El Venado,
I
his
know.
stablemate. And he's also 7th at the WBO
So
versus
why
Rafael Espinosa.
you're
I'm
proving
trying
our
to tell
point?
you.
Okay,
No,
so stop
what I'm
right
trying
there.
to tell you is this.
Okay,
We know Bob Arum has pull with all of the organizations, and he can fight his stablemates. Mr. Bob Arum makes a lot of his fighters fight each other. The PBC does not easily cross over. You see what I'm saying? Ruben does not have to wait for Ray Vargas to say, "Yeah, I'll fight you," when he can fight any of the other guys because Mr. Bob Arum can make it happen. They're stablemates, guys. He doesn't have to
no,
cross
but
over.
also this. Venado Lopez is
Uh,
just you gotta just listen. Venado Lopez has already stated that he's not interested in fighting Ruben Villa, that he wants unification or he's going to move up.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because
That's true. That's true.
listen, because he just recently just beat a Japanese fighter who was his mandatory. He's not
Yeah.
interested in fighting Ruben Villa. So why do you think Top Rank maneuvered Ruben Villa to the WBC route? Because the IBF champion is not interested in fighting him. So it doesn't matter to bring up these other variables. Oh, he's top 5 or top 10, 13, and he's repping the green and gold. So it easily allows us to say that Villa is pursuing that route. Don't bring
Yeah,
in
yeah,
those
yeah,
other variables. Oh, dude, he can move up to 130 and be a mandatory for Shocky. Like, why are you bringing that up, bro?
Yeah.
Like, make it simple, man.
Look, I'll make it very simple. I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Vargas doesn't fight Ruben Villa. Simple as that. How about that?
That's
Good.
a possibility
Good.
because Ray Vargas can say the same thing that Venado Lopez said. And he goes, you know what? I don't want to fight him. I want to unify. And you can't say that Ray Vargas ducked Ruben because
Oh
guess
yeah, yeah.
what? He's looking for unification. Same
True,
thing that
true.
Lomachenko did to Devin Haney. I don't want to fight Devin. I want to unify with Teofimo Lopez. Now people can say, "Oh, you dug Devin, you dug Ruben." No, it's just there's bigger and better things than
Yep.
fighting a tricky southpaw or a tricky young fighter in Devin and Ruben when I could make more money and become a two-time champion.
Okay, that's logical. That's good.
No, it's a fair it's a fair assessment. Like you can't judge people for continuing to move up rather than continuing to move down. Like no, in life it's all about moving up, getting bigger purses,
Hmm.
having the tougher fucking fights that people recognize, and that's what it is. Like that's just that.
And that's what I tried to tell my buddy about why it was a banana peel fight that did nothing for Ruben Villa's career fighting a Chacon last night.
No, it
Right?
did a lot of things for Ruben because it put him in this prime position where we can talk about this hypothetical and Ray Vargas. Now, Ray Vargas does have outs. The
Yeah.
WBC, even though that you are the mandatory, like Dylan White was for 2-3 years for Deontay Wilder, Wilder can continue to fight Tyson Fury X amount of times, and Dylan White can get eventually knocked out by Povetkin and have to start
Yeah.
all over. That could
Yeah.
happen to Ruben Villa if Ray Vargas goes, yeah, I want to unify and become undisputed at 126.
Yeah.
Where does that leave Ruben? Well,
A tougher
in a
fight.
lot of positions, dude, you're a top fighter. You can
Yeah.
fight all these other top dudes. The question is, are you just gonna wait around for the opportunity or the title shot, or you're gonna use this momentum and build and pave your way? Then, like again,
Yeah.
this put Ruben in a beautiful position to maybe to A, put pressure on the other champions, and to B, if the other champions aren't available, I can fight guys like Roby C. Ramirez, which is a great fight for Ruben.
Hmm.
I can fight, I don't know, a Nick Ball and make Saudi money with Frank Warren. Like, dude, it brings so many opportunities for Ruben as long as Ruben just doesn't become stagnant and,
Yeah.
listen to, you know, the speeds of the world and be like, take this route. You feel
Yeah.
like,
Like that's pretty obvious too.
yeah,
And,
you
and
know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, yeah, I get that, but I'm just thinking he was already in second place without having to fight this guy.
he
This
didn't
is not
have
how he
Rick
got to
Merrigan.
second place.
He
Yeah,
didn't
no,
have.
but he didn't. He didn't have to. Like what I'm telling you is this: even before he fought this guy, he was already next in line just by the rankings itself. The only thing he did was get a belt that recognizes it, right? Because anybody without that secondary silver belt, I guess anybody could just step in and demand that they get that shot for that belt. That makes it official, right? But
But
he
don't
was
you?
already second in line.
But
That was it.
we're also trying to
Also,
be fair too, right? Isn't there other mandatories and the other sanctioning bodies that are in Ruben's position that
yeah,
deserve?
I think Speed
Yeah,
mentioned
for them,
about
yeah,
Tony
Yeah.
Figueroa.
So
So
it's not
let me
fair.
not only
yeah,
put it to you like this, put it to you also like this. Just because you're in a great position to become a champion in your next fight doesn't mean that next fight's going to happen against that champion. Look no further than David Benavidez against Canelo Alvarez,
Yep.
hmm,
right? So from a microscopic, point of view, David, what Ruben Villa is to Ray Vargas is what David Benavidez is to Canelo. Even though David Benavidez is a pretty popular fighter in terms of the
hmm,
boxing outlet, he can't put pressure or demand anything and make that Canelo fight happen because that's how big Canelo is.
Mhm.
Same thing with Ruben. Ruben at 126 can put pressure on Ray, but where Ray Vargas is in terms of accomplishments and where he's fought around the world against whom he's fought against the world, like you can only state your case, but doesn't mean Canelo, like Ray Vargas, has to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find my mandatories. Like it's very complicated, but I hope Ray Vargas doesn't use that upper hand. Other than like, look, you want what I have? All right, cool. Just take the 25% and let's just fucking fight it like men. Hopefully Ray Vargas does that. But Ray Vargas, of course, has outs, and I can't fault him if he don't fight Ruben. I would love for him to fight Ruben. I would love for Ruben to get that opportunity. But the reality is that's politics, and it comes down to the highest bidder and who's putting up the money and how much money you're putting up. You know, and hopefully it happens this year, bro. But like, this is boxing, bro, and
And
this is
that's the thing with,
very
and that's the thing.
difficult to become a Super Bowl champion winner in boxing because shit ain't easy.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Ray Vargas, there's no guarantee that he decides to fight fucking Ruben. He might just be like, one of Saudis are offering more money for unification, and then Ruben, like you said, like he has an option to either have a tough fight to build the momentum that he has, um, and fight like a Isaac Dogbe or fucking like you said, like a Roberto Ramirez, But honestly, I think the team, like the Garcias, they'll end up picking like another dude like Cruz, uh, similar to you know, his his level of boxing and stuff like that, but maybe like a higher ranked guy, like in the 20s or 30s. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. I think if it doesn't happen, he's gonna fight another caliber fighter like Cruz.
So Speed said something amongst the lines of, I think he was closing in on certain details about Ruben Villa in terms of, I don't know, his extension with Top Ring. Do you know anything about that? Do you know if it was a 3 or a 4 fight deal? Is there talks about extension with Top Ring? I imagine there are.
I think it was like a
The victory,
five.
yeah.
I think it was like a 5-fight deal or something like that.
Five. Damn, nice.
Yeah, 4 or 5. But I think
Not easy to secure that type of fight deal. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So I think as long as like he gets into contention, I think he's done everything that Top Rank wanted him to do and thought he would actually do. So I think yeah, no, he's in contention now. So he's definitely a player for that belt.
Let me ask you
So,
guys this, because we talk about having influence and having pull and putting yourself in a position. This is why I'm crossing my fingers that Ray Vargas fights Ruben Villa next.
mhm.
But how many people tuned in to watch Ruben Villa as he was the 4th or 5th card on the undercard of Jared Anderson? You see, that's another factor to play because of talking about
True.
exposure. Thank you, Top Rank, for putting Ruben Villa in a position to be an interim WBC belt holder, right? But like, besides a small ass channel like us, we can't really make that pull for
Right.
Ruben Villa. You get me? And when he's fighting on the 4th on the non-televised portion of the undercard of Jared Anderson, like
Hmm.
right a fight or after Abdullah Mason, who's a prospect,
Hmm.
like that's
Yeah,
not
that's why.
extremely influential for a guy who's been in that prime position of beating Venado Lopez and Navarrete. So
I think he
again,
would.
those things matter, right?
Yeah, he would need another big name like a Isaac Dogbe to be like on the televised, card and shit.
A mini event or a co-main, absolutely.
Yeah, he needs a name. He needs a name in order, I feel like, to be, pretty much on national television. So he has two options, really. So I see what you're saying. And Ray Vargas can either say, this is a beatable fighter, I'll fight him. Easy money. Because no fighter decides to fight a fight that they can't win. Like they don't, and it's only fair, but I think it just depends what Ray Vargas says. I'm gonna look into some interviews, man, see what he thinks, And
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's not
that's
many
a
out there,
very good
man.
point, homie. That's a very good question that you're asking, right? Why the Top Rank, knowing that they had an opportunity to bring exposure and eyes to obviously a type of fighter that Mr. Bob Arum appreciates, which is the small town guy who overcame, the small town life, who's aspiring for bigger and better things, who in this case comes from people that work hard in the fields, a farm town, country folk who are hardworking but have been plagued with the gang violence. All those kind of things that he has to overcome in order to make it into the high levels of boxing and ranking that obviously Villa is in. We know that he's done that with Jose Ramirez. Um, we have to ask ourselves, why did he put him in a position where there wasn't going to be much ice on the prize? A half empty venue, if that at most, where a lot of people didn't get to see him because he was on the undercard. Now,
Also,
a
this
let me ask you, because see, here's the thing:
California is
they're asking the same thing about Shakur Stevens. Why is Shakur Stevens having a rematch against a fighter he already fought that brings no name recognition, who obviously does not do anything for him? He won't pay him much, and it won't win him any fans. Why? And people are thinking the reason Bob Arum is setting up these fights like this is because when it's time to renegotiate the extension of contract, he can be like, look, you didn't do nothing. You didn't entertain. Nobody found out you fought, and when they found out who you fought, they didn't give him much credit. Shakur Stevens, I'm gonna renew your contract, but instead of 3.5 million a fight or more, 2.5, take it or leave it. Do you think they might be doing that to Ruben, trying to get him on the cheap?
Well, look, it's possible. It's very possible. Also, it's like, they go based on your pull, your influence, how much you're selling. So it's just the market, bro. Times are tough. You
Yeah.
see, like you got to ask yourself, why are you having these fights in Texas and not California? Maybe the fee, maybe the state athletic, it's cheaper over there in Texas than it is for the California fees and taxes. Like there's so many things that the factors that weigh in. So you ask yourself, like, why aren't you having Ruben Fia fight in California rather than 3 times in Fort Worth, Texas, where I don't know if he has an established fan base over there. Like to your point, like it was half staffed venue. Like all of these things matter. Why? Maybe because, like you said, it's a political gain and they're trying to get him on the cheap because they recognize his talent. Or B, maybe that's where they can make the most bang for the buck and just keep it for their fighters rather than paying all the leagues, California fees. Who knows? I don't know. But, that's above our pay grade. We don't got to think about it like that. But I'll say this. Ruben Villa has to fight a top fighter to be in the co-main event. Much similar how David Benavidez is fighting a top fighter in Alexander Vosdik on Tank Davis versus, hopefully Frank Martin. So that's where Ruben Villa is in a similar position of David Benavidez. I know Drac is not as popular as David Benavidez or whatever, but in terms of, a microcosm that we can use David to understand the picture, David was on a pay-per-view event himself versus Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andre, and now he's on a co-main event of Tank. That's what Ruben Villa needs to find himself in this next fight if he can't get Ray Vargas on fighting on a co-main event of I don't know, a Shakur Stevenson undercard or of I don't know, a big top rank event. He has to find himself on the co-main event so people can tune in and watch. And then again, he's got to perform, not only win, but win with fucking flying colors, knockouts, bloodied, freaking eye socket popping this way, nostril over here, flying teeth over here, like Bud had Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Like he needs that type of performance to people be like, yo, what the y'all see that? Man, who's this Ruben Villa kid? Like you need that exposure. If you don't get it, then it's gonna be harder, to get those big fights. And even if you do that, like David is doing that to Demetrius Andre, like he did to Caleb Plant, it's still not. It might not be enough to pull in these fighters. You feel me? So like, man, boxing is great, but it kind of sucks when you start thinking about it like that. But we'll see.
Yeah, you gotta hate the politics sometimes. It doesn't really work in our favor and shit. Fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah. I want to say, you guys talked about the other undercard fights, or the main event. I didn't watch the Jared Anderson. Was that stuff good or what?
Dude, legitimately.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm watching the fight. I'm already sleepy, dude. Dude, I'm literally fighting my sleep, bro. I literally fell asleep. I fell asleep. I don't know what round.
I started reading a comic book.
No, I literally fell asleep, bro. Like the remote was on my chest, like everything, bro. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious, bro.
Was that boring? The main event?
Dude, it was horrible, bro. I mean, God, man, it wasn't Shakur level. Maybe it was Shakur level boring.
Oh no, it was better. It was better. Let's not kid ourselves.
It was slightly better. Yeah, no, I fell asleep because the co-main, Efe Jagba went the distance, and man, that shit was boring too. But I know Efe was in trouble in the beginning of the rounds, and after that, or he was hurt. Actually, he was hurt. I forget which round in the second or third round. That was entertaining, and then after that, it's fucking downslope. Like he played it safe, and it was a boring fight after that.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this. So there are Fa and Jared Anderson. Probably
Fa Jagbe fought Bianello.
Bianello. Let me ask you guys this. Hold on, I had a little bit of brain fire. A little side topic going back to Ray Vargas, because you guys were telling me that it was uneventful, the main events and the co-main events. But you think Ruben's camp is gonna reach out to you and be like, hey, bro, your son has these similar attributes, high in arm length, like a Ray Vargas, is bringing him to camp.
The speed, I can see it. but you know, we'll see.
Bro,
Because
it could happen, bro. It could happen.
yeah, no, because Mo got speed, bro. Mo got speed, and dude, never mind. I'm deviating. Mentally, I'm deviating. Uh, yeah, I could see it because of his speed, but it's his IQ. You know, like I think Ruben's looking for more IQ and someone that can. I think he's a good. That's a good example, bro. That's a good one. That's a good
He
one. I
might
can't. I
just he
can't.
might just be like, hey, bro, you're pretty tall, you're pretty lengthy.
And
You know,
he's in
you're probably
shape.
pretty tall like Ray Vargas. You know, you want to get in some work. You think
Yeah.
that's what happens or nah? It could
That'd be good.
happen, man.
That'd be some
What do you
solid
think? What
work,
do you
bro.
think, Speed? Why you nervous over there, bro? You quiet, bro. You quiet.
That's some solid work, but I think he can still. There's a lot to improve. Like there's better work for Ruben as far as like, there's that dude Diego from our gym. I forget his name. Um, or he Chavez was his last name. But he was Coach Danny's fighter, professional fighter, his
Yeah,
last
but he has.
professional fighter.
Does he even go to the gym still,
I
or
don't
does he
know.
go once in the blue moon? Because you have to
He-
understand this. Just because, like, of course, bro, like Mo is he's an amateur. Of course, he's not gonna have the IQ of a Ray Vargas or the professional attributes of one. But sometimes, like, you bring in maybe 5 fighters in camp, one that has a similar attributes. You know, you work on certain things based on level of skill set. Also, like that doesn't mean Ruben Villa is gonna go soft on Mo either. Like he's
yeah,
gonna go pretty tough to see, and then you can weigh in your level. Sometimes amateurs have a certain style, and then they're able to piece apart Bernardo
true.
Lopez. How many times have you told me, Drew? Oh man, Ness, here's that these amateurs are piecing apart Bernardo Lopez, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's
Yep.
what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't really matter about IQ. It's about stepping up to the plate.
Right.
So Ruben Villa just can't pay. I don't know all the Ray Vargas's lookalikes in the world top dollar because how many of them are there? Now you're looking at like what's the other fighter at 130? He's a black kid, up and coming kid. He's like 25-0, something Bell.
Albert Bell.
Oh, Albert
Okay.
Bell, Albert the
Okay, Albert
Prince.
Bell. There might be like 10 Albert Bells in the world. How many can Ruben Villa really afford to get him into a prime position like Ray Vargas? Like, oh, he can copy his style. No. But locally in town, there's a kid that has those intangibles. He knows of them. Hey, you want to get some work, even if it's 6 rounds here and there, maybe Mo surprises them and they're like, bro, I need you for this camp.
Well,
That's how
actually,
bro.
there's another fighter that's in the gym. Um, what's his name? He's a very good
You talk
kid.
about Lefty?
No, no, no.
Yeah, Southpaw. Yeah,
This guy is a
man.
6 foot. This guy is a 6 foot two, maybe 130, 130, 130, 125, 135 pounder. My son spars with him. Always presents him complications because why not, right? Any of those fighters, they just use their physical attributes, throw a jab, and they can keep you at bay. It's hard to really
I think
maneuver over them. They're very respectable and they have enough power with their jab and they know how to use it. It's
you know what's gonna happen.
there's work out there.
You know what's gonna happen. Ruben's gonna go to Robert Garcia's gym, and that's where he's gonna get all his work.
The Hector Tanahara. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Of course. That
Yeah.
that's that's really realistic. That's
that's a
usually
doghouse. That's a doghouse right there that will mentally
that's
prepare him.
actually what happens quite often.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was at Robert Garcia's gym, like pretty much I think his whole camp. So that
Yeah.
I was like, that's perfect.
I know he has more resources to go, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
don't be surprised if that kind of text happens. And then
yeah.
Max Garcia or Josh
Hey,
talk to Coach Danny, be like, hey, there's a
yep.
close private session. And
Mhm.
I'm just saying you gotta be prepared for anything.
Mhm.
So that could happen, guys. I'm just saying,
Solid work.
more than likely it's not gonna happen. Like Drew's perspective, they'll probably take him over there to Oxnard or the Riverside so you can spar guys like Hector Tanahara, Virgil Ortiz and stuff.
And there's always new guys popping up. There's
But you
always
never
new.
know, man. These kids travel, word gets around, and
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so Ruben is in a good place, guys. He spars. He gets a lot of work from up and comers over there in Las Vegas. He goes there quite frequently, so he's in a good spot. Huh?
Definitely.
Of
Yeah,
course. I'm just saying, like,
And at the Top Rank gym.
you gotta be a
yeah,
word, man. You
exactly.
gotta be a word.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I remember
So
Keith Thurman was coming up. I remember Keith Thurman was in the up and coming, and he is like, I only train like if I'm gonna compete against Floyd Mayweather. You see, if you're
Yeah.
any local kid, you gotta train and compete like you're fighting Ruben Villa every single time.
Right.
Because you're fighting for the standard, the apex. You don't fight
Hmm.
for to be your local, your town, not town champion, but your gym champion. You're not just looking to be the best at your gym. You're looking to be the best in the world. And the only way to be the best in the world is that you got to put it and ingrain it in your head that you're
Yeah.
fighting the best in the world, or preparing or training for the best in the world. If you're preparing for your rival high school kid, then the standard is relatively low. But if
Yep.
you're preparing like, oh, I gotta, beat this dude from Germany and his name is Lomachenko, then that's what I gotta do. Like the
Yeah.
standard and the way you're gonna push your boundaries are gonna far exceed the one that you're gonna beat your high school rival. You feel me?
I feel like that's where like your true value comes out. Like, and I feel like that's where like that's how legends are born. Like they're born in tough gyms, and they're in dog houses almost every day. Like for example, they like Robert Garcia says like Errol Spence needs to go to a gym where he's not the best fucking fighter, and where he's gonna get challenged every single day. And that's where mentally I'm thinking like that's how you kind of prepare a fighter or for coming back. To remind them like this is like the caliber of fighter. The caliber of fighter you need to be in order to hang with us. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is, bro. And a lot of fighters can improve like that, but a lot of fighters are comfortable in their own space, and they're like, nah, this is me right here. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. But I feel like dudes like Ruben, he's switching it up, and he's actually going to top rank gyms and
Well,
literally,
now he has access to those gyms when before he
yeah,
wasn't a top ranked fighter, he
yeah,
wasn't getting that level of access. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's
So
one of the beauties of being signed to a top tier promotional company is the access that opens up, and weed stores open up for you to get the best level of quality of work.
And I feel like those are tests. I feel like those are like the testing mechanisms that or like tools that they got. Top Rank has is bringing in another fighter that they think is good and having them
Indeed.
and spar, and then they review the footage, and then they're like, "Want what? Let's put Ruben in this type of fight. Let's do Ruben right here. Let's because they that's what they do behind and behind the scenes pretty much when they go to Top Rank. It's pretty much these little quizzes that they give them. Like, all right, let's see how you're doing against this guy now. And pretty much it gets him prepared for the test, which is under the
Yep.
big lights, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Those closed environment sessions where the matchmakers are there and the promoters are there scouting the
Yeah,
talent. They know what they've been surrounded by greatness. They know what it
yeah,
looks like. For
yeah.
example, when Robert Diaz was the matchmaker of Golden Boy, yeah, he was in those gyms. They have all the stories to tell. They're never going to leak the footage,
They're never.
but they're there watching and they're like, all right, man, yeah, this Williams Zepeda kid is ready for a Shakur. Or
That's
no,
why.
he's not ready. I got to get these couple of styles. That's
Yeah,
why when they tried to match make correctly Ryan Garcia with all those southpaws after, Javier Fortuna, Mercito Hesta, Jojo Diaz, then Cepeda, then Tank,
right,
that's the steps you have to take, Ryan. But Ryan was like, nah, fuck it. I'm ready for the big fish. I want Tank. And then boom,
yeah,
you get blasted within 7.
right.
So it's like,
They're
these
going
matches,
against.
they know a thing or two. And,
Yeah,
those are the ones that you really want to pick the brain because they're the ones that are, chopping it up in the chalkboard and be like, all right, I'm going to
yeah,
match this kid, boom, boom, boom. The promoter is just a spokesman. He listens to
right,
his
yeah,
advisors being the matchmakers. So yeah, for sure, bro.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like, I'm telling you.
yeah, and here's the thing, like you mentioned, these promoters know what they're doing. Mr. Bob Arum knows what he has in Ruben Villa the fourth,
well, he's an
and to
old
tell you
man,
the honest
right?
truth,
He's an
no,
old man, right? He
no,
doesn't he
no,
he
he's
does.
sharper than you, buddy. He's sharper than you.
Bro. Like,
No, no, no. Whenever people say he's an old man, you underestimate. You think somehow because he's taking a step back or he's
He
falling
is.
behind. Absolutely not, guys. He's not. He's sharper than all of us. And in fact, here's the thing. He said that Abdullah Mason is the greatest prospect that
Oh,
he's
dude,
ever dealt with in his life. And
dude.
now you have to understand, there's men like I don't know, like Terrence
I
Crawford, Mayweather, he's Golden Boy, all of these guys. He said that where Abdullah Mason is at right now, he's the greatest that he's ever faced, that he's ever seen at that stage in his career, and it was
Yeah,
proven last night. What do you guys
yeah.
think about that? Is Mr. Bob Arum old and he doesn't know what he's talking about, or is he still sharp and witty?
Just because somebody else is good in the gym doesn't make somebody else look smart. Abdullah Mason was one of the top amateurs, highly touted amateurs in the game, bro. Like he was literally gonna get signed by somebody eventually. So I think it's Abdullah Mason's uh mentality, bro, along with his skills. Like he is the total package, bro. He's the total package, bro. And I said in my story, I posted him. I was like, the best 140 pounder on Top Rank, And then he messages me and he goes, I'm 135, bro, but thanks, And I was like, God damn, this guy's big, Like this guy has the stature to move up, but he's fucking dudes up, bro, and he's willing to exchange, and he's got a chin, bro. He's one of my favorite fighters right now, along with like Inwin, shit like that. But yeah, no, I think with Bob Arum, bro, he's got advisors, bro. Like literally, I know he's scoping shit out, but literally, like I think some of his like his son and his nephews like are the ones that are like doing all the the sparring sessions and and shit like that. There's a lot of people in the middle, bro. Like he's been doing this for years, and it's hard for him to like get a full judgment on people, and he just yeah, bro. He's not there in sparring sessions, then you kind of don't know as much as your advisors do, because they're there in person.
Well, I also like he knows what he's looking at. So it's like, for example, he doesn't have to be there every single time at every single moment of sparring, and he can he can attend a fight, and he can be hearing things from his advisors when he attends the fight, and he sees it when the lines shine the brightest, and Abdullah Mason is performing the way he is against a lot of tough undefeated fighters. Like remember, Abdullah Mason is fighting tough dudes, bro.
Yeah,
Dudes that are like really skilled
that
or
guy was 14 and
undefeated.
0, 12 knockouts.
One of the fighters that that's what I'm saying. One of the dudes that Abdullah Mason fought, he was one of our homies that he beat. Angel Reboyat beat Justin the Stallion Cardona, who was signed with Robert Guerrero. So
Yeah,
it's like, and that was when he was undefeated, and Angel Reboyat had 1 or 2 losses. That's who Abdullah Mason is beating. He's beating the Alberto Venado Lopez's of the world before they
yeah,
become to that position, and
yeah.
that's difficult, bro.
That's
Like that's
crazy.
you can't like, bro. Let me see, Abdullah Mason. Like these are not soft touches at all.
Yeah,
Um,
and the way he's fucking him up, it's the way he's beating him, bro. It's crazy, bro. This guy was 14 and what? I forget how many losses,
14 and
but
5.
four, yeah, 14 of those wins were knockouts, bro. So he was exchanging with this guy. He beat him in his best game. He beat him at his game. And his opponent was the type to you could tell he got a lot of knockouts by exchanging like the way he did, and Abdullah Mason was willing to do it. And he goes, "Why not? Let's play that game. We can do it. We can both play that game." And you see it, bro.
Yeah, it's
Abdullah
gonna it's
Mason,
gonna take like another Emiliano Vargas, another up and comer with a lot of upside,
that's a
like
great fight.
to give Abdullah Mason a really tough fight, the one that has multiple game plans. And even then, I, I would probably favor Abdullah Mason to beat an Emiliano Vargas.
Yeah, dude, for
But
real.
again, it's gonna take a special fighter to beat another special fighter.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, it's
they're building that one up.
yeah, they top rank. They found themselves a good one right there, bro, for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. And then they got. It's not about the quantity; it's about the quality of fighters that they got. And I feel like I just gotta look at the whole roster, the zone and matchroom before I make a stupid statement.
And Vince goes, man, you better be careful. Nah, bro. Like, yeah, no, like I said, it's gonna take somebody special to beat Abdullah Mason. I don't know who, just because he looks to be the goods. Like, obviously, you can be like, well, Tank Davis or Shakur or Devin Haney or one of those guys can beat Abdullah Mason. Yeah, but you're talking about, 19-year-old, now up the level against the pros. But at the same time, that's how good that Abdullah Mason looks like. Let me
He's
see.
like 20 years.
Actually, gentlemen, let me ask you guys something because I know that you guys entertain some crazy old notions, right? A couple like
Diego Nunez. No shit, I don't
6
know.
months ago or so,
Gabriel Flores.
you gentlemen both said that Carmel Moton Carmel Moton
Hey
would
man,
beat Lee
we want to
Wood.
talk about we want to talk
So
about
let
the
me ask you
card, man.
something.
We
If
want to
you
talk about
guys
the
think
card,
Carmel Mutton beats
man.
Lee Wood, who, as a champion or a former champion currently at lightweight, do you see Abdullah Mason beating, if any?
Well, I think that's like 10 pounds difference, bro. Like Kermel Morton is at 126. I mean,
No, 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 no. But I'm just talking about prospects that are so good and highly touted that you guys would say something as ludicrous as he would beat Lee Wood. So I'm trying to ask you, gentlemen,
Someone
where
who's in
is
his
your
weight class.
ridiculous angle in the same weight class, as Abdullah Mason?
No, he's not.
Which
let me
of the
say this too.
lightweight champions or former champions does Abdullah Mason beat at this moment?
I think at 135,
Yeah.
Abdullah Mason could beat Gable Flores. Okay, I think Abdullah Mason. Let me see at 135 who's there. Let me see. Obviously, Tank, Shakur Lomachenko, Zepeda, Raymond Murataya. Let me see. I think all those guys would beat Abdullah Mason. Keyshawn Davis, Edwin de los Santos, probably Giovanni Cabrera right now beat Abdullah Mason, but I would favor Abdullah Mason to be the next champion and number 17 ranked in, according to BoxRec, Miguel El Alacran Berchel. I would favor Abdullah Mason to beat Jose Pedraza and Fortuna that are rated in the top 20. I would favor. Oh, this one's tough, bro, because one guy is still a kid and he's still up and coming, so he hasn't really had a 10 or 12 round fight. But I can see Abdullah Mason beating George Kambosos. If Maxie Hughes, who's a southpaw, a short one, without power, outbox George Kambosos, I think Abdullah Mason could beat number ranked 7 in the world, George Kambosos. Abdullah Mason can. So that's where I'm at. With Carmel Morton, that would be my only comparison. I can see Carmel Morton beating a 36-year-old Lee Wood, but let me see Carmel Morton against a top fighter, same thing with Abdullah Mason, for 12 rounds. And next champion. If they pass the test with fucking flying colors, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, he can beat George Kambosos. Yeah, Carmel can beat Lee Wood. I'm not good, but I'm saying like they look to be the goods. You just gotta, go about building the process correctly. But yeah, man, like that's where I'm at with those two. Like
So who's if they could print out a baseball card right now, what card do you want? Carmel Muttons or Abdullah Mason?
I want them both. That's like asking me.
No, one. Pick one. Pick one. Pick one.
That's like you asking me, would you want a rookie card of Errol Spence and a rookie card of Bud
Look,
Crawford?
okay. Look, let me make it easy for you. I have a 1967 Super Sport Impala and I have a 1967 Wildcat Custom. You ask me which car I want more, I'm gonna tell you. The Wildcat.
Well, because you gotta pay insurance. You gotta pay insurance.
The one that's more complete. That's what I'm gonna tell you. So, for example, if you ask me who do I want, Abdullah versus Carmel Morton, well, I have Morton's card, but give me Abdullah Mason's.
There you go. I like that. Stick by it. Stick. Okay, there you go.
With the Super Sports, and hold on. Vince Vargas goes, "You better be careful, man." Just kidding. Mason is a bad man. Mason is a kid. Yup, you nailed it. I'll be rooting for Villa, not a Vargas. I'll be rooting for Villa, but not against Vargas if that fight happens. I'm mentally and emotionally invested in Villa and how good of a man he is. Yeah, man, I agree.
He's a great person.
Yeah, Villa, bro, he's really cool, man. Real cool kid, and man, I want him to become a champion so bad. Not because like he's earned it or he's deserved it, because all of those guys that have laced up the gloves have earned and deserved it. Brandon Figueroa, Ray Vargas, they've all earned and deserved their status. But to your point, bro, yeah, we're emotionally invested into it.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously, local grown around this area, so we want him to it's like, yeah, bro, that I say orgullo, right? You get that pride.
Yeah. But, we see him running in the streets.
Tough, man. It's tough. And like, look, all roads to becoming a champion, they're always going to be tough. Like, for example, we're fans of Canelo. We're also fans of Jaime Munguia. It's tough. Same thing with David Benavidez. We like all these dudes. They're really good fighters. Actually,
the first fight,
respectful. But in the name of competition, we want to find out who's the best. There's no disrespect. And we're willing to pay top dollar for it. It's just, we just want to find out. We don't want to rob ourselves of this experience where older fighters age, and we get a situation with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. It's like that fight was built up and over marinated, and to the point where when they did happen, they both played it safe. Mayweather, like Pacquiao, they both did not go balls to the wall. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see prime fighters fight one another and get some fucking Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, or Marvin Hagler versus Tommy the Hitman Hearns. I want to see some crazy shit like that. And we will live for, like, for example, on Saturday, right? The UFC card, Max Holloway and that guy Justin Gaethje. They
Oh,
went balls to the wall for like the last 10 seconds, right? That's the type of shit like we're gonna be talking about that for months and years to come.
years.
That's what we're all about. And
They call that the best knockout in UFC history. It's gonna be remembered for ages, bro.
Which one?
There's a knockout that happened yesterday, and the way it happened is literally it's a 5 round fight in 5 minutes each. You know, so it's the fifth round, and they decide to go off on the last 10 seconds of the fifth round, and literally this dude gets knocked out in the last 5 seconds of the fight, and the way he got knocked out, literally just face planted on the ground. You know,
Is
and
there
it's
any?
like
Is there a footage right there, homie Ricky, that you can
it's
throw under real quick if you don't get struck?
you might get flagged. You might get flagged, but
yeah, I don't know, but you can watch it on,
it's everywhere, bro.
yeah, it's
Really?
pretty
Well, then you
much.
shouldn't be able to get flagged. Not if it's
Yeah.
10 seconds or less.
Well, then you can do your own research. I'm not gonna slack, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, speaking of knockouts, the
Man.
best knockout that I seen this weekend was on Friday night's Power Slap. Do you guys watch Power Slap?
Ah, man.
Do you guys watch Power Slap?
The other things are too brutal for me, man.
Whoa, check this out, guys. This sport has to be really, they have to start changing the rules, right? Because if your thumb, if any part of your finger is a little high, and that's easy because if you open up your palm, it could go over the cheekbone. If you hit a little behind, it hits in your ear. If you hit a little low, you can hit in the neck. Any of those places, if there's contact, it's this thing called clubbing, and you take a foul, right? So let's say for a championship power slap fight, there's 5 slaps permissible until somebody gets knocked out. Now I'll tell you what, guys. Some of these guys are some of the hardest slappers in the world.
Damn.
And all it takes is whoever wins the flip of the coin. That could be it. That could seal the win. Just fate, right?
Hey, Rick.
Fortune and fate.
Hey, Rick.
Yo.
Have you heard about this dude named Jalen Skywalker?
Yeah, I heard about Skywalker, but hold on. Keep going, Speed. Finish up that.
Yeah, I know. If you want to talk to Rick while I'm talking, text them or on the chat. What's wrong with you, Dream? They're ridiculous. This guy
That's what
probably
you do.
can't even hear me. Anyways, but long story short, right? This guy takes the first swing, and it's a hellacious thing, guys. If you've never seen what power slap kind of damage it does, basically it swells up with tumescence, the part of the face, the part of the cheek that you're getting slapped on. There's contusions being formed, all kinds of crazy stuff. So the first guy swings his palm, and it's called clubbing, right? I guess he hit a little to the neck, and of course that's an area of concern because it could hit the carotid and maybe cause some damage. Okay,
Yeah.
so that guy gets a point deducted. The guy who received that foul, he gets 1 point. Now it's his turn. The guy who just got slapped and fouled, he slaps the guy, and it's a one-hitter quitter. It's like, boom! The guy just completely falls. He tries to gather himself. He starts stumbling all over. The guys hold him. It's a wrap. Now, they slow down the footage. His index finger is about half an inch over the area that he's supposed to hit. So he committed a foul, right? And he lost. So it turns out that the champion, who was the guy who got knocked out, this is his second time in a row that he remains a champion after he got knocked out, right? So you're like, okay, bro, I get that. But if I got fouled the first time, why don't I just act like I'm hurt and then win, right? Because that's basically what happened with the champion. The champion, he seriously got knocked out. But when he got fouled, it led to him being the winner. He retained his belt. The other guy similarly got fouled, but because he stood up, he lost. You see what I'm saying? Now, it makes even less sense, right? Because if you start analyzing these things, you're like, yo, I mean, what if the guy flinches? What if the guy moves his head a little bit, which happened in the best knockout of the weekend? There was a knockout, guys, where the guy got slapped. There's a table that you hold onto, right? This guy face plants the table. Boom! And in half a second, he falls back, hits the back of his head. He stays asleep. The guy won because it was half an inch over his cheek. It was ridiculous, guys. The best knockout over the weekend was in Power Slap. And if you're not watching Power Slap, I would encourage you to download the Rumble app and watch it. They're all for free.
All right, for sure. So I appreciate that segue into you know, power slapping. I have seen the clips on Instagram, and like the female and the male ones, bro. Those things look brutal. Like I mean, you can't. You have to stand upright. You gotta lean straight. You have to have one hand placed. Like look, there's a market for everything nowadays. So salute to them. Drew wanted to talk about Jalen Skywalker. I believe Vince just messaged saying Skywalker lost. Correct. Felt bad for the kid. He was getting hit with some shots. Drew, if you're still here, let me go back one tab. Yes, you are still here.
Yo,
What I missed it, bro. What the happened?
bro, this guy, like, I heard about this guy, right? And when I was working out, I was working in LA. I seen flyers of this dude.
Who,
So,
Jalen or the guy that beat Jalen?
Jalen Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was a big name out there. I was like in Glendale area, and I seen like a lot of ads on him, and I was like, God damn, who's this fighter? So he must have been fighting out there when I was out there. This is when I was first training for my job that I have right now,
Okay.
and I pretty much I was out late for a whole week. That's when I heard about him, and I was like, they're calling him like a phenom and all this, and I'm seeing the dudes that he's sparring, so I'm thinking high on this. I still think of high on this guy, right?
Yeah.
I still think there's a lot of potential with this guy. Um, but this guy's sparring top guys like Joe Cordina, Devin Haney, um, fucking who else? Like there's some other names in the 135. Jorge Linares,
Right.
like Jojo, yeah, dudes like that. And I'm like thinking, all right, this guy's like hanging with these guys, and then this guy just got connected too many times, bro. Like he doesn't know how to keep his hands up, bro. And the way his punch placement is, it looks like he's kind of slapping.
Oh,
Um,
okay, damn.
but this guy, his punch resistance is out of this world, bro. Because he's taking every single punch, and this guy's, hitting him with some haymakers, bro. Like, that's what's impressive to me. He was able to like he showed a ton of heart is a thing, and that's something that can't be taught. Like what he has can't be taught, but he can also be taught so much more on just the little things in the game, and that's like keeping your hands up, you know. And it's stuff like that. Like they built him up. You see his resume. They
And they
built him
fought on
up.
Saturday?
Yeah, and they built. Yeah, and I'm thinking like, fuck, I'm not really confident. He's minus 900, so like he was favored, bro. And
I mean, it
uh,
happens to the best of them, bro. Like, look, it happened
yeah,
to what's his name, Robeisy Ramirez. He lost his first fight by knockout, and
yeah.
then or by
Oh, that's right.
decision, and then he rematches the guy. Same thing with Bernard Hopkins, and I think Marquez also lost one of his early up and fights. So it happens to him, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't see this fight, but like again, I was just looking up who Jaden Skywalker fought. Right, he fought this guy named Alejandro Guerrero, who's 13-0. I mean, 13-4. 13 of those wins by 10 knockouts. But if you look at his 4 losses, look at this. This is what I was trying to tell you guys about being toughly matchmaked and how iron toughens iron. When you look at Jalen Walker, he's 12-0, right? You're like, oh man, he's gonna beat a guy with 4 losses, and he's already got 4 losses. Well, Jalen Walker, sorry, the guy that Jalen Walker lost to, Alejandro Guerrero, he lost to a fighter who's 6-0. He got KO'd by a fighter, Xavier Martinez, 17-1, who's from Sacramento, Sacramento up north. Then he lost to another fighter by decision Otar Aranuzian, who's 9-0, and then he lost to a 19-2 fighter, Abraham Montoya, who Mark Castro just beat on Friday or Thursday. So what I'm saying is that's the beauty about being match made correctly, is that if you're
Hmm.
going the distance or giving these guys and you're fighting undefeated after undefeated fighters, like for instance, let me throw out a couple of names: Darnell Boone, who dropped Sergey Kovalev, who dropped Andre Ward, right? When you look at fighters and dropped Adonis Stevenson, when you look at fighters like Darnell Boone, Gabe Rosario, or Rosado, when you're fucking 22 wins but like 18 losses. But if you look at those 18 losses, it's like Jermall Charlo or Jermell, Austin Chalk, Canelo, Triple G, back to back, and you're like, God damn, where's your soft touches? When you
Yeah,
finally
exactly.
fight a guy who's 7-0, like a bully Melikuziev, and you knock him out in the first couple of rounds, then you're
Hmm.
like, well, fuck, that's what happens. So
Yeah,
that's,
but
I'm not saying that's what's happening to Ruben or Michael Conlon, but what I'm saying is there's similar attributes to that. So I'm
right.
not saying Jalen Walker has had soft touches. I have to really look at who he's fighting, but it doesn't surprise me when you fight those guys that are battle tested and you have an up and coming, under 23 years old, and then he gets fucking knocked
Yeah.
out.
And there's a big difference though. Like you see it, like with like especially like Ruben, bro. Like he was taught to keep his hands up, and that's just a no brainer for him. Like like that just goes back to years of experience. I feel like Jalen, you can tell like he hasn't, been fighting for a very long time. He just has a lot of like a big following and like his work ethic, bro. I follow him, bro. He posting his workouts, and I'm like, this guy doing like 3 a days. He's in shape,
Yeah.
and it shows, bro. I feel like your punch resistance is it's a reflection of how you treat your body, and he's he knows how to like treat his body, and he's in really good shape. So it's just he gets hit with too much shit. It wasn't like he was knocked out cold. They were just trying to save him from himself, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, not
No,
yeah.
I
I think
mean,
he can still make a lot of improvements, bro. Like you see his work ethic. Like I still think higher the guy just because he was still hitting Guerrero with some shit, bro. Like it looked like Guerrero was about to get knocked out. Matter of fact, um, but Jalen's just too wild and he doesn't block his shots, bro. And it's really about hand placement. Just literally all he had to do was keep his hands up. Like he was hitting him with some Guerrero with some shit, bro. And he could have actually put him out, honestly. Like that's why I'm thinking like this guy has a lot of potential because he almost got him out of there. But it was like literally in the middle of the fire. He was exchanging with dude and caught him. But that's when it was dangerous on his part as well because he was getting caught as well. So I think it was like the sixth round, right? His coach, or no, the fifth or sixth round, the end of the fifth or sixth round, his coach is like, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it. And then he goes, no, no. And he gets up. Looks similar to Flores, because he was like, no, 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 no. And then he goes, all right, give me one more round then. One more round. And that's you have to show me something. And he goes out there in the sixth round, I think, and he goes, oh, and he actually wins that round. He actually hurts Guerrero, and that's where I was talking about right now, where he clips him with some shit and almost puts him out, bro. Almost knocks him out in the sixth round. And then come the seventh round, fucking Guerrero was just coming back in with the vengeance and actually um the ref or the corner stopped it, I mean, because he was just getting hit with too much shit. He wasn't knocked out, nothing like so kids showed a lot of heart because he he could have won that fight by a knockout, bro. So I
damn.
like Jalen, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, let me give you another name: Lorenzo Truck Simpson from Baltimore.
Oh yeah,
He was
yep,
another fighter that you're like, damn, bro, this guy looks the part. He's supposed to be the up and coming Tank Davis. And then he gets beat by a Mexican as well named Vladimir Hernandez with a record of like 14-6.
yeah,
But when you look at Vladimir's 6 losses, I mean, how often do you find a Mexican by the name of Vladimir? Like, it's very rare. Let
yeah,
alone if you look at his 6 losses, they're like against Israel Madrimov, Soleiman Sheshko, Jesus Ramos Jr., Jesus Alejandro Ramos, from Arizona, you're like, damn, bro, this dude's only getting beat by the best. And that's what happens when you have guys like Lorenzo Truck Simpson, or in this case, Jalen Skywalker, that they're barely up in the up and then boom, they get beat by some solid ass dude that you're like, damn, bro. Like, I know this dude has 5 losses, but those 5 losses are coming to real dogs that happen to be champions now, or were in line
Mhm.
to be champions. So
Yeah,
then
but
you,
you know what? That's actually the perfect type of fighter for somebody like him at this juncture, right? Because if you beat that guy, you could say that you're in the same caliber of fighter as the champions, the guys who are beating that guy. So those are the best tests because
of course,
eventually the career of a fighter will require that you fight one of those guys, right? That you have to overcome that because even your promoter, maybe not your manager, your promoter will say, if you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to be this kind of guy. And unfortunately for Skywalker, he wasn't.
yeah, no, I mean, or he wasn't that night, or he wasn't right now, and that happens.
Yes, yes,
And
there
that's
you go.
why
Yep, yep.
you pick yourself
And in
up,
fact, gentlemen,
right?
that's
You
one
make
of
the
the
fight.
good the that's
Go ahead.
actually one of the good fights that happened last night because for the most part everything else was a lackluster performance by all the big names. Top ranks event last night really was pretty much a bummer. Did you gentlemen get to see the fights at Matchroom held by the Zone app over there between a unification fight between Ellie Scottney and Seguin Lefebvre and Alejandra, man, I forget her name, but she's an Argentine who'd only lost to Katie Taylor. She fought against Ellie Scottney. No, wait. Rhiannon Dixon, who proved herself. Rhiannon Dixon, very similar to somebody like uh what's his name, Fabio Worley. She had no amateur experience at all. No fights, just basically stepped as in the professional. This is her 8th fight, and she became a champion. Now, people can say, oh, well, that just means the division ain't deep, right? But what other kind of fighter faces another undefeated fighter? The caliber, well, actually, she had already lost to Katie Taylor, but whose only loss is to one of the best female fighters in the history of the sport, with 8 fights total with that one, and she drops her and she wins in a very scrappy fight. Did you guys get to see the matchroom fights last night? Well, last morning.
Nah, man, I don't support Eddie Hearn, bro.
uh,
Okay,
I
all
did.
right.
I watched some of them.
Were you entertained?
Um, yeah, for the most part, I like when them UK guys talk shit to each other because it's like they think they're all. I sound like a hater, but they're on top of their own world. You know, they're like the shit in the UK, bro, and they are, bro. Like they literally glamorize these fighters at that level. You know, and you could just see it, bro. They're like they think they're on top of the world, and it's like a real gladiator fight. They really fight for pride and shit. But most
Sounds
of
like
them
you're a
don't.
hater.
No, I'm trying to sound nice. How can I word it? I said they're on top of their own worlds. Like they think, rightfully so. So I watched Flynn, the Jordan Flynn fight.
Yeah. What
That
you
was
think about
good. I
that?
think it's good. I liked it because women rarely knock each other down. That's the one, right? Was that the one? No, I think
No.
that was Dixon. That was
Jordan Flynn
Dixon.
is a fella.
Yeah, I think Jordan Dixon was the
Oh,
one I'm talking
Rhiannon
about.
Dixon. Rhiannon
Rihanna
Dixon.
Dixon. Yeah, that's the one. She got the knockout or
Yeah.
knockdown.
She
My
got a
bad.
knockout. No, knockdown.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. I thought you said knockout. I was like, no. Come on now. I
I
mean,
corrected myself.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah. She's
But
the
yeah,
one
and I
that I
seen
just
that.
spoke about.
I seen that and Zelfel Barrett. Um,
What you think
Zelfel
about
Barrett.
that one?
Hold
That
on,
one's
hold on.
go ahead.
Those fights that you're talking about, they sound kind of interesting. But you know what sounds more interesting?
Oh
As it
God.
goes through the internet, Naoya Inoue responds to American critics saying he should have fights in America.
Yeah.
He responded with saying this:
Yeah.
the home of the lightweight division is now here in Japan.
What?
If you want to see the game, come to Japan. If there's something better than what is available than the Japanese market in America, I would be happy to go over there.
You
But
said
as of
lightweight.
now, all that is worth is in Japan.
He didn't say lightweight, did he?
Well,
Featherweight.
I don't know. This is what the
Featherweight. No, no,
translation.
no. Actually, below featherweight.
This is what the
Junior
translation of
featherweight.
Google reads. So it
Oh,
might be, featherweight or whatever the case may be. But bro, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Mhm.
See, Tim Sue, you should have done that against Sebastian Fondora. You should have done that against Keith Thurman. Bro, fuck fighting in Las Vegas, bro. If you're selling out venues with fireworks and stadiums in Australia, it's not better here than in America.
Yeah.
In terms of your fan base. So Tim Sue, I wish you would have talked to Naoya Inoue so you realize that why do I gotta come to America and fight Tank Davis? Have him come over here in Japan because this is where Pokemon was created. Bro, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
This is where
Hold
sushi
on,
was
let me read some of
invented.
these comments, and then I'll let you guys go back to your guys' Fabio Warne. All right.
no, no, no. I think that's perfect timing,
Wait,
homie Ricky.
hold on. Let me read some of these comments. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so Vince Vargas goes, Skywalker lost, right? Upset. Felt bad for the kid. Was getting hit with some hellacious shots. The Mexican G goes, power slap should be in the Special Olympics. That's
Yep,
funny.
I agree.
Pork Chop Guerrero, Vince Vargas states, and Skywalker is from Compton, California, I believe. Power slap is fun to watch, though. Guerrero is battle tested, fought some good fighters, and it showed. Learned a lot in those tough defeats. Sometimes a fighter with losses is more dangerous than an undefeated fighter. Let me highlight that because that's pretty much the premise of what we're talking about with Ray Vargas and Ruben Villa. Let's see. Where is that at? Sometimes a fighter, and that's eloquently put, the Mexican G. Salute, bro.
Yeah.
That's what the whole premise of this video is. Where was I at? Sometimes a fighter with losses is more dangerous than an undefeated fighter. Absolutely. The Mexican G goes, they have nothing to lose. Very true, Mexican G. Crazy how things turn out. SOWD, slap of the week. Damian DeBell versus Ryan Phillips.
Put that up there. Put that up there. It's literally 7 seconds long. It's on YouTube.
They wanted to stop it. One last round. Skywalker showed something. Heart. He was taking it to him. The
Yeah.
Mexican G goes, Skywalker can still bounce back. Maybe he just had an off night. The Inoue ain't nothing but a hype job. Warp Speed goes, are you joking, Mexican? Ain't no competition in his division. Once he moves up, he's going to get mopped up. In this country, I'm just joking. All right, so I will say this. Right now, everything comes in waves. So for like a decade ago, Argentina had Sergio Maravilla. He just beat Chavez Jr. There was Diego Chavez, had given Keith Thurman a really good fight, had a really fun, dirty-ass fight with Brandon Rios. There was Lucas Matisse, who was beating some fighters. Supposedly, Danny Garcia was afraid of him. And then there was Diego Chavez, Lucas Matisse, and then Marcos Maidana, right? Giving Mayweather and beating guys like Broner and giving some fights. Things come in waves. Australia has a good little market as well with Tin Su, Steve Sparks. What's the other guy? He's like 118 pounder, Sam Goodman. And then there's a guy who's supposed to be fighting the 140 machine, Leon Paro, right? So everything comes in waves. Well, Japan has always had a really good little market with a lot of good little fighters that never really got that crossover appeal until Monster Naoya Inoue, right? Like there's always been Takashi Inoue, who gave Jaime Munguia a really good fight at 154. Then there was that 160 pounder that fought Triple G, Murata. Then there was there's always been at the little smaller weights some really good Japanese fighters. Naoya Inoue is really good, right? And you have to also understand this. He's 2-time undisputed in the second weight class. I think he's been a champion at 4 weight classes already. So if he were to move up to 126 and let's say lose to a Ruben Villa or lose to a Robeisy Ramirez or a Venado Lopez, that doesn't mean that he's not great. It just means maybe that's where that division he needs to remain at.
That's where he capped out.
Reached his max. Same thing with Canelo. Just because he got beat by Bivol and got outboxed, that doesn't mean that Bivol is that much greater than Canelo. No, it's just that Canelo A, met his match, and B, is fighting a weight class
He's kept
and is
out.
continuing to fight in weight classes that he should not be fighting in. So, for
Exactly.
example, if Venado, he's only been a champion in one weight class. Let's say he beats Naoya anyway. That does not mean Venado Lopez should be on the pound for pound list because he beat Naoya, who's in his fifth. No,
Yeah.
it just means if Venado was just better than him at, and maybe, Naoya reached his peak. It happens. I don't
Yeah.
think Naoya is hype. I don't think so at all. I think Naoya is, I don't have to think. I don't even care what anybody says. Resume speaks for itself. Like, for example, Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan made Oppenheimer. I don't know. He got nominated for like 11 Oscars, won 9 of them. Quentin Tarantino has been, when he makes his movies, he's dominating the film game with Pulp Fiction and all these other things. Just because I don't like Quentin Tarantino, let's just say it. I like Quentin Tarantino a lot, by the way. But just because, let's say, I'm a critic and I don't like Quentin Tarantino because he's very violent and he makes fantastical movies like fantasy and they're not realistic, as opposed to a guy like Paul Thomas Anderson from California who makes nothing but realistic movies, doesn't mean Quentin Tarantino is a beast. He might just not be my cup of tea. Same thing with Naoya anyway. I don't know. Look, I know you might just be messing around and stuff like that for the sake of conversation and playing devil's advocate. But what I'm saying is a lot of people do have that notion that Naoya is underrated because who the fuck is Mario Tapales? Who the fuck is Stephen Fulton? People have that opinion. You're not the only one that's been making it. But again, it's just resume. Same
Yeah.
thing with
Yeah.
Ray, going back to Ray Vargas and trying to tie it back down. Yeah, he got beat by Oshaki Foster, but that's in his third or fourth weight class. What does Oshaki Foster look at the welterweight division, moving up to 4 weight classes? I
It's
don't think
okay,
Oshaki
Jackie.
would be a champion at 135. I don't think Oshaki could beat anybody at 140, let alone 147, which would be his 4th weight class. He's just good at 130, and he was able to outbox Ray Vargas, a much smaller fighter who's moving up in that weight class. So how good is Oshaki? Not really good if you're just staying in one weight class. That's my contention with all these lists on pound for pound. Bivol is really good at 175. So is Beterbiev. But just because they could beat or KO Canelo doesn't mean they're that much greater than Canelo. Because Canelo is doing it in his 6th weight class when he started at 140, where Bivol and Beterbiev has always remained at 1. So again, it's like, it's not apples to oranges. You just have to compare the truth. And the truth is, these smaller dudes, even though they are moving up in multiple weight classes, they're good at that respective weight class.
Yeah.
He's solid, and I'm glad that he's standing on his ground. What y'all think?
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, no, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think you defended yourself well. I think your opinion. Well, I agree with you. You can only fight whoever is there. I think because we're ignorant about certain weight classes, because one, we're not introduced to those fights much. Because obviously these smaller people are usually in small in countries where we don't get to see their fights. We may be ignorant about the names, so we may be ignorant or easy to discredit their fighters' records because they say, "Oh, well, who have they fought?" But a lot of the questions that are answered when we ask who have they fought are basically answered by, well, who do they fight for, and who promotes them, right? And nobody promotes these smaller venues. In fact, these smaller weight classes are only now being promoted because there's people that are undeniably very skillful. So people are paying attention to these weight classes not because the weights and the competition level and those weight classes are any better. It's just that now you're starting to see that there's people with absolutely incredible skills like Juan Francisco Estrada. You have Naoya Inoue. You have what's that guy who knocked out the Maloney brother? We have Bam Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, but they're going based off the fact that one, promoters are starting to invest in them because they know that they have winners and because of their high level of ring IQ and fighting prowess, like Chocolatito, right? So it's these kind of fighters that are standing out because of the skill set that are shedding light to these weight classes, but they've always just been there. It's just that nobody was investing in it. This is the reason why I appreciate somebody like Eddie Hearn, who decides to open up markets and shed light to certain fighters in regions of the world because we're starting to see that now people are starting to ask whether or not, Chocolatito, Francisco Estrada, Naoya Inoue, are, if they're the goods. But that's a good question, because it's good to know whether or
Whoa,
not
whoa,
they are
you
the
gotta
goods.
give Eddie Hearn this credit, bro.
Then who do
What?
we give it to?
This
The
guy.
PBC? Do we give it to the PBC? Do we give it
Listen,
to
listen.
Golden Boy? Who do we give it to?
The only thing that Eddie Hearn has done for the sport of boxing, okay, is
Oh,
make
here we
female
go.
boxing. Hold on, is make female boxing relevant. That's it. Okay, that's it. I ain't gonna give him credit for trying to globalize the sport because he's failed to do so.
All right, let me tell you what I think about anyway.
Go for it, bro. Go for it. Try to
Oh
give
yeah,
Eddie
so
Hearn all this credit. This guy.
I'm
That's
not
hype.
gonna, I'm
Eddie
not
Hearn
gonna.
is nothing but hype. He
I,
overpays fighters, doesn't know how to build fighters. They always get beat. And yeah, he just ran $1 billion. Go give us your opinion on Noah, bro.
yeah, man, that Eddie shit, it's none of my business. As long as you're, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have no, I feel no ways, bro. Like honestly, I need to like dive into like I need to put my promoter hat and see who's doing their job and shit. Cause I've been focused on who's getting knocked out and who's going the distance, and that's really like kind of where my focus has been. But yeah,
Good stuff.
little by little, I've been seeing what you're talking about, but we'll talk about that another time. But
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
anyway, bro. Anyway is different, bro. It's his temperament. I think his power can translate. I think he two more weight classes, maybe just one,. But I think he's like that dude, bro. Like he fights with his attitude and he fights for pride, bro. And people think like what about his skills? And dude, he has all the skills that you need as a fighter. He's a complete package, or not the complete package, because he does get hit. He does get hit by a dude like Nonito. So
that is
that's
part
how.
of being the complete package.
Right, right, right. So it's just they're gonna have to build him to a certain extent. Like they're gonna have to figure out what his cap is, because at 135 they have power. I always felt like his cap.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's barely at 122. Why are you
I
jumping
know,
to
but they
guys?
talk
Man,
about.
this is the reason why
Hold on,
Naoya is
hold
great,
on,
because Drew skips like
hold
four
on,
weight classes.
Yeah.
hold
But keep going.
on,
Keep going.
because they're talking tank. They're
Yeah.
talking all this
Who
tank talk.
is?
Like LB.
Americans. Americans.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Americans.
God.
Yeah, Americans, not me. So, I prefer obviously Tank to fight dudes in his division. I agree, but there is talk about Inoue and fucking Tank, which is insane.
But it's
Now that
just a one-sided conversation. Like
Yeah, it's more like a one-sided conversation, right?
it's
But
not even like,
I just feel like before people even start to talk about it, I would like to say that he is probably capped out at either 126, or because he's at 122. So I think he just pretty much fought the best 122 pounder. 126, we're gonna find out more. I
there's
think one.
two guys. There's two guys that I would like for him to fight, and
Yeah.
one of them he's already fighting on May, and that's Luis Neri. The other one
Mm,
is MJ. MJ.
Like Magdaliev.
Akhmadaliev.
yeah.
That's the one because I don't think Marlon Tapales beat MJ. I thought he did good. I thought he did enough to get a draw, but I also thought MJ Akhmadaliev defended well. That's the one that I think that could give Naoya some problems, but I would still favor Naoya. Look, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Naoya, if Oscar Valdez, who started also at 122, if he can become a champion at 130, I got Naoya anyway beating Oscar Valdez. Like if he were to move properly and
Yeah.
build, Naoya versus Valdez is a fucking badass fight.
Yeah.
That's a great fight. And
Mhm.
I would favor Naoya. He's faster, he's stronger, he's sharper, his IQ, his speed. He showed you that he can outbox the outboxer Stephen Fulton by miles. Stephen Fulton was supposed to be, really good at 122. Guess what? He didn't win one fucking round or 10
Yeah.
seconds of that
Insane.
round destruction and got slept.
Insane.
So look, Naoya is fucking bad, bro. I'm not even
Different.
gonna lie.
Scary.
I'm not even gonna lie. I thought Steven could outbox him because I was like, man, dude,
Yeah.
Naoya is moving up straight to Fulton, who's a unified champion. I don't know if he can take Brandon Figueroa's fucking onslaught of power. I think he can match and outbox
That's what I
Naoya.
was thinking.
I was wrong.
Bro, I would love to see Carmel Mutton versus Naoya anyway.
That's too early.
That's how we.
All
No,
of a
no, no,
sudden,
no.
it's too early on.
Honestly, that would be a really good fight.
Yeah.
Naoya would have to move up to 126, 14 up and coming, bro. But honestly, Naoya would piece apart Carmel Moulton. In fact, he would
I think so too, bro.
he would demoralize
I think
the
so too.
community, bro. Like if he did that to Carmel Moulton, it'll be like, yo, what the fuck?
He beats him, bro.
On a kid to the point where Terrence Bud Crawford would come out and be like, I'll chop down to 130 and fight Naoya. You know what I'm saying? Like people would be on a fucking, they would be in a uproar. They'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing fighting a kid? Oh, I'm gonna, this is hysterical." That's why they want Naoya to move up to fight Tank Davis because they were so like, "Man, you be one of our prime black undefeated fighters." Like, what the fuck is going on here, dude?
Yeah.
Imagine if you did that to Morton, bro, he would piece apart Morton and knock Morton out, bro.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Mexican G is hinting at when he states at the very last message. He states, "I'm just not buying the hype." I think the people are just trying to look for the next Pacquiao, and I think in Carmel Mutton and Abdullah Mason, perhaps the black fighting communities are looking for the next guy like that, right? So look, and it's okay. And it's okay to
like we're looking for the next Canelo Alvarez. Like that's always going to happen. You always look for new and the up and comer. That's why we're so big on Emiliano Vargas because we're always looking for that next one. That's just like that's just human nature, That's just in terms of boxing. That's kind of what we do. But we always look for somebody new, and we never really appreciate the established fighters because once they get super big and egotistical, then they're like, now we're playing this A side, B side, and we just go back to the period. That's just the nature of this business that we always have to be battling around. You know what I mean? But that's not a flaw.
That's crazy.
That's not a flaw. It's just that's how we've molded our intellect to really start like. That's how we, that's just what we do, bro. That's just what we do.
I just feel like, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I think in a way, god damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead, guys. Fuck.
You don't have to say them cuss words, man.
It's all good. Look, man, I will say this: when the Mexican G states in his last sentence, I'm just not buying the hype. I think people are just trying to look for the next Manny Pacquiao. Well, I'll say this, and it's I understand why you're looking at it from that perspective. I hate when people compare it. People to like greats, because like Naoya is a great fighter, but he doesn't have to try to replace Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is an 8-time, 9-time divisional champion. That might never happen ever again, right? Same thing with another fighter like Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. Maybe they're chasing Floyd Mayweather's greatness and trying to remain undefeated 250-0. But like what made Pacquiao and what makes Floyd Mayweather in terms of always on the tip of people's tongues is they're the standard, of what the sport looked like when one fighter or two fighters were dominating certain weight classes. Much like Naoya is moving up in all these weight classes and winning by knockouts, you look at the similarities. Pacquiao was doing the same thing too with guys like David Diaz, knocking out Morales, Barrera, dropping down Marquez, moving up and knocking down Miguel Cotto. Right? Naoya was doing similar things to Fulton, Nonito Donaire. Maybe he goes up to 126. He knocks out Ray Vargas and Raymond Ford and all these guys.
Ooh, that's a good fight.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not about buying into the hype. The hype is real. Accomplishments and the resume. It's not like he's beating one champion. No, he's beating the champions and becoming undisputed by beating more champions. See, Pacquiao was never undisputed. You see, in any weight classes. I don't even think if Pacquiao was unified in any weight classes.
Yeah, so they're going different directions as far as their careers because of that.
Absolutely.
One is chasing undisputed because it's actually a popular thing to do in boxing now is to go undisputed. But to be honest, Inoue is actually the closest thing to a Pacquiao. I don't think there's no one has been as close to this as a Pacquiao. I think that's where it is. But yeah, you're right. Like they're chasing different types of accolades, and to be fair, bro, like Japan and the Philippines, they're both islands, and they're both in the Pacific, or I forget what ocean that is, but they're pretty damn close to each other. So I think You know, this is like the closest thing it can get to a Pacquiao.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and you know what? Like I said, everybody is always gonna compare something to a certain fighter or a certain moment. You know, like some people like to be like, "Oh, Tyson Fury is the next Muhammad Ali" and stuff like that. And it's just like, look, dude, I
Different
understand
size.
comparisons exist, but it's just like, just enjoy your own level of greatness. Enjoy
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
greatness. Enjoy your moment. You know, when it's all said and done, you can let the nerds battle it out. To like, oh, this guy's better in comparison to this guy, but it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be like that. To me, I'm not gonna let people's criticism try to draw me into like not liking the Oye because I love Pacquiao that much and what Pacquiao accomplished. I can
Yeah.
understand the argument of people were going and the similarities. It's just fantasy matchups. But it's just like whatever, bro. Like, like that's just like a kid argument, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with you right there, homie. Fantasy matchups, triangulation theories, whoulda, coulda, shoulda, those kind of things. That's for the
Pythagorean
birds.
theories. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Pythagorean theories, the butterfly effect.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
sir.
that
Thanks,
stuff.
sir. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, you know what? First off, I just wanted to thank you once again for this opportunity. It's very fun. It's very fun. See, one of the things that we talk about, or at least I express it a lot in my comment section, is how the homie Ricky, and I always tell everybody this in the lives, the homie Ricky is just a better anchor for these kind of boxing
Listen,
conversations.
bro. You don't gotta talk about. Oh, this guy is better than.
No, no,
Listen,
no. I'm just saying because I recognize
just enjoy. You
the
don't have to
deficit.
recognize nothing, man. Just enjoy the
Yeah.
conversation.
No,
Listen,
it's fine. It's okay. I could get props. I I I I I
Don't take them.
do tell.
Don't take them for granted. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. That's what I tried to tell everybody. Don't
we
take the homie Ricky podcast for granted.
let's read this last comment from the Mexican G. He goes, I'm not denying Inoue's achievements. I'm just saying he's overrated. It's ridiculous that people say he's pound for pound number one. All right, so I will say this. When it comes down to the pound for pound listing, it's always been like this. It's what have you done for me lately, right? And when you say I'm not denying Inoue's achievements, even if you try to deny it, like you already lost that argument trying to deny it. Because like if you tried or didn't, like bro, resume speaks for resume. You can't take that away from him unless he failed the drug test and be like, you're only beating those guys because you failed the drug test,
Yeah.
aka Alicia Bumgarner. Anyway, I'm just saying
AKA
that he's
Connor Ben.
overrated. Overrated based on what? On his achievements or what? Because it seems like you're only saying that he's overrated because people try to compare him or look for the next Pacquiao, and that shouldn't be something that you should equate because, like we've just mentioned, it does not equal to one another. It's ridiculous that people are saying he's pound for pound number one. Honestly, it's not that ridiculous. Now, for me, I'm not putting him up there in front of Canelo or Bud Crawford. But if it's what have you done for me lately? Well, what has Canelo done? He hasn't really done anything since 2021, right? Like beating John Ryder by decision, Jaime Munguia just knocked him out. You see what I'm saying? Beating Jermell Charlo, that's a guy that moved up 3 weight classes to fight you. Or 2 weight classes, what, 160 to 168? All right, 2 weight classes. So then you could say Terrence Bud Crawford and Oya anyway. Now, if you wanted to make 1A versus 1B argument, okay. Bud Crawford is undisputed in 2 weight classes, right? Bud Crawford is undisputed in 2 weight classes. Naoya just matched him. Everything about Bud Crawford is all about accomplishments, not so much resume, right? I know Bud Crawford's resume. I'm sure you guys know it as well. It's a very good resume. It's diverse, right? In terms of 140, that's his most diverse resume. That's where he became undisputed. He fought Southpaw and the Dominican Republic, Felix Diaz, really good fighter. He beat Victor Posto, who knocked out Lucas Matisse. He beat Julius Ndongo with a body shot under 4 rounds, who Julius Ndongo ain't shit, but nevertheless, it's diverse. At 147, anywhere we want to slice it, where he beat Sean Porter or Jeff Horn or an Errol Spence damaged goods, like that doesn't matter. Resume speaks for itself. But has Bud Crawford ever beaten a fighter as decorated as a Nonito Donaire? No. Who were you gonna give me? Gamboa? Maybe. Gamboa was a champion at 126, 130,
Just
and a
Gamboa.
champion at 135. But Nonito Donaire is like a 4-time, 5-time champion. You see what I'm saying? And Gamboa, like where is he right now? They're basically Gamboa and Nonito Donaire are roughly the same age at 40 years old. Donaire, the only guy that he can't beat is Naoya anyway. He was still able to beat the Frenchman, Nabil Oubouli or something like that. He was able to beat his other dudes as well. He's still competing at the top elite level, right? And we look at unified champions. Well, Bud Crawford, beat a unified champion in Errol Spence. Naoya Inoue just beat Marlon Tapales, a unified champion, beating an undefeated, silver Olympian medalist and MJ Akhmadaliev. So when you start talking about accomplishments and resumes, you might say Naoya is on par or maybe just a slight better than Bud Crawford. Is just because we acknowledge and know Errol Spence that we don't know really any of the fighters in terms of popularity that Nonito has beaten. I mean, that Naoya has beaten. But when it comes down to, again, going back to that argument, what have you done for me lately? Bro, Donaire just beat Stephen Fulton, an undefeated prime unified champion. Beat another unified champion coming off an amazing upset, and Marlon Tapales also beat Donaire. And now who he's fighting? Luis Neri. Now, you might say Donaire is washed. Come on. I could also say Errol Spence is washed. Come on. You see what I'm saying? So when you start really comparing things, bro, like when you say that, it's ridiculous that people are saying that Naoya is pound for pound number one, I could also say it's pretty ridiculous how people put Bud Crawford in front of Canelo Alvarez as number one. So again, and if I say, well, Canelo Alvarez should be pound for pound number one, go again to this notion. What has Canelo done for us lately? Beating Jermell Charlo? Did you knock him out? No. What about John Ryder? Did you knock him out? No. Jaime Munguia did. So again, what have you done for me lately? It should be literally like Naoya, Bud Crawford, Devin Haney, and the list goes on, and Canelo falls down to like the 4th and 5th spot. But again, who cares, bro? Just enjoy that shit. You know what I mean? Like, dude, Naoya he's a beast. Bud Crawford is a beast. Canelo is a beast. Munguia and Jermell are beasts. But when you start lining up and fighting one another, yeah, bro, they might get beat because, like,
Somebody gotta lose. Yeah, no, somebody gotta lose. Somebody's gotta go. Eventually.
Absolutely, someone's gotta lose.
Yeah, so
someone's gotta lose. Like Jermell is still a really good fighter. He's just not a good one at 168. He could be a good one at 160, but he hasn't fought there. But what we know is Jermell made history, and his accomplishments at 154. It don't matter if I try to shit on it. He was the last man standing. And what I mean, like, shit on it is like he didn't fight Erislandy Lara. He didn't fight Jaime Munguia. He didn't fight, J. Rock Williams or Jarrett Hurt or Canelo at 154. No, he didn't. But he still stood the test of time, and he fought the other guys that remained there, like a Brian Castano and company. So, like, that has to mean something. That has to stand for something. Same thing with Ray Vargas. What he's accomplished, it has to mean something. I'm not here to denigrate and try to, like, pick apart what they've accomplished, because accomplishments and resume has to, like, that has to be valued at some worth. You know what I mean? Yo, guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about, bro? We've been going on for like 4 hours, man.
3.
4. Yeah. There you go. You still have energy, right, Dream?
Nah, it's all good. I'm in the toilet right now.
Yeah. Look,
oh God.
Ryan Garcia is fighting next week. He's going to be fighting Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia has done, I would say, a very good job of promoting this fight, right? Because if we go back on that adage that good or bad publicity is good publicity. Like, any publicity is good publicity. Well, this dude, he's making the rounds with his conspiracy takes, with his, pedophilia takes, and, child exploitation. And now I just hopped on Fight Hype, and he's saying F Errol Spence. And he puts Errol Spence on blast for the split on the money with Derrick James. You know,
Dumbass.
he said that he would like to fight Bud Crawford, because why not? So he's making the rounds and promoting his fight versus Devin Haney again. Where is Devin Haney? What has he done to promote this event? Because they told us that the ticket sales are bad, so it can't be for the lack of not trying from Ryan Garcia.
Oh no.
What's Devin Haney doing? What's Bill Haney
So,
doing?
dude, I think it's a total. It's not a total flop. I think there's gonna be some last minute sales and shit because of the prices that are about to drop again. I think they're gonna price drop again sometime this week. But
Hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, I think it's like a horrible location, bro. Like they're reaching, and I don't know why they would have a fight in New York. They seen some kind of, obviously the analytics told them that there's some potential there, and you for a good outcome. But obviously, it's not a good location in my opinion. I think they should have had it somewhere around our area, not because we live out here, but because we're like in the middle. You know, uh, somewhere in the middle would have been a great event. I think Chase Center would have sold out, but I'm hearing Ryan Garcia didn't want to fight at the Chase Center for some odd reason. I don't know the business. Maybe it's because of the fees that they charge. I don't know,
Nah, it's
but
because it's close to Oakland, and that's where Devin is at.
yeah. But I think it would have been sold out, and I think the outcome would have been a lot better. Maybe we would have been at that
Agreed.
fight.
Yeah, no, very, very true. That was yeah, man. Like I think I talked about it when I went live for like 12 minutes. That's a huge mistake on behalf of Golden Boy. It's like you have two
Yeah,
California kids. It's
horrible.
logical to have the fight in California. What the hell are you doing on the East Coast?
Even
Now, if Ryan
Vegas.
Garcia was fighting Lomachenko, or if Ryan Garcia was fighting like I don't know, like an Edgar Berlanga, at 140, then it would make sense. But the fact that or like a Subriel Matias, because that Puerto Ricans and bro, Devin is a Oakland or California or Nevada kid. Ryan Garcia is a California kid. Like, why? It's like, why would you
Horrible.
take that fight to Japan or China?
Yeah, they need to sue
Like,
somebody for
that's
that.
dumb, bro. Like, that's one of the dumbest things.
I was super
That
shocked.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like it was ridiculous, bro. It's like
It
they
needs to be
fumbled the bag by
investigated.
they're telling you, all right, that the New Yorkers don't want to support this event because they have no ties to those fighters. New
Yeah,
Yorkers can't really associate themselves with Ryan Garcia, right?
nah.
And they can't really associate themselves with Devin Haney because they're gonna look at it as like, bro, those guys are from California. They're spoiled. They didn't really get it out the mud in the New York tough streets. But yet there's not one good New York tough fighter.
Yeah, and
So
it's
what
like
I'm trying to say is like, why are you gonna take our athletes over to New York? The same thing. Why bring Jack? Why are you gonna bring Naoya anyway over to
Exactly.
California when people are gonna be like, oh, well, he has to fight Tank Davis? Like
Yeah,
what? No.
exactly.
Like what the fuck are we talking about here? So
yeah,
The
that's
golden days of America, the United States of America being the mecca of boxing, long and gone, long done
no,
and gone.
no,
There
but I
is no future for for fighters that are already well established and recognized and being well recompensed in their countries to come over here to the U.S. in order to get their belts taken from undeserving and unappreciative, very divided fan bases that America has. Ridiculous. Tim Sue, you should have stayed over there in Australia, packed another arena, another rugby field with 60,000 fighters.
he still
Naoya
can.
continued. Naoya, of course, over there, not here,
I'm just saying he still can.
so for
not here
example,
though.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
even
it
the
does matter.
Italian rivalry.
He's never gonna get recognized in America. Sean Porter is crazy for thinking Tim Sue and Naoya Inoue need the United States to be what he quote unquote recognized. Ridiculous.
Oh, in that
Validated.
case, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really dumb, bro. It's really dumb because we talked about this in the past. The sport of boxing in America is not even a top 10. I don't even know if it's a top 10 sport. Yeah, probably a top 10 sport. But it falls. It's not even the popular sport. Like we talk about basketball, baseball, football. Hockey. All of these reigning sports dominate the market. Like there is no pull or influence in American boxing. It's minute. One or two names, three that can really generate a tons of profit.
Right.
But if you're smart, top rank, golden boy, you have your top fighters fight in Japan in the undercard of Naoya anyway. You take them over to Australia and fight them in the main co-main event of a Tim Tszyu. You don't bring
Yeah,
them over here because
yeah.
they can sell over there, and you can expose your fighter to a market over there. So, for example, Tim Tszyu when he fought Carlos, no, not Carlos Cuadras, the guy that he knocked out in one round, right? Carlos Ocampo, right?
Yeah.
Tim Tszyu rolled up in a 1964 Super Sport Impala. He was wearing the Pachuco clothing and things of that nature.
Hmm.
There's obviously a market of lowrider culture over there.
Hmm.
So why don't you take some Hispanic fighters over there to fight them and expose them? You can branch off and build an Australian fan base over there, right?
Yeah.
Where it isn't as divisive, and they're going to support their fellow countrymen. But if you take them over there to bring them over here, maybe 10 Americans are going to rock with an Australian. You
But
get what
you see, the other thing about that, homie Ricky, that the Australians and like the UK fighters, they appreciate it when fighters from other parts of the world go over there and they show them respect. Like
Absolutely. So
Tony
go over
Harrison,
there and fight, right?
apparently
There's money.
apparently Tony Harrison became like this very popular individual. Everybody was curious to talk to him and befriend him and give him more respect just because he went over there. They were very amused by Tony Harrison and his confidence in the way he spoke. Bringing those, that I don't know, maybe Detroit kind of slang, Detroit cool over there to Australia. They were very amused by it, and they really liked them. Yeah, they American boxing fans won't give that kind of respect to foreign fighters. In fact, they won't even give the respect to their own American fighters. All I have to remind you, gentlemen, of is the rematch for undisputed between uh, Brian Castaño, and Jermel Charlo in one of the biggest Chicano, Mexican American, and Mexican populated cities in the United States of America. We all know that the brown man from Mexico, Mexican American lineage and whatnot, is the reason why the sport is still alive and thriving. Guess what? When it went over there, halfway sold. The people never loud. Even though you had some of the biggest names and one of the most important fights in recent history taking place in their backyard, they didn't show up. Now, I want you to compare what happened last night between Selfa Barrett and Jordan Gill for just a regional belt, a UK centric belt. The arena got packed, everybody got lively, not one seat empty.
Hold on. You're talking about a different market though.
I'm trying to tell you that America and the American boxing fan is not as significant or as populated as we like to make it out to be.
Oh yeah, because
Also,
they
we can
think
also
about it. They don't
say,
have football. They don't have NFL. They don't have NHL. All they got is rugby, soccer.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's no, it's very true, and that's why that's the point that we're saying is like because America has a bigger outlet, and if you can make it out here in America and sell out venues, it counts for much more than selling out a smaller market. I get it, but sometimes if the smaller market is selling and doing good and it's doing great for you, let others expand your market. Don't try to go and expand yourselves by traveling worldwide because that's not how it's going to work. First conquer in terms of the land of conquering, right? In the game of war, in the art of war, you first conquer your certain segment, your area, your city. Then it's your county. Then it's your state, so forth and so forth. Then like the Olympics, you start out regional, then it becomes domestic, then it becomes international, right? That's how you got to go about it as well. So, like, I mean, that's just common sense. But yeah, that's Tim Stu's biggest mistake. With
Yeah,
that
yeah.
being said, it's just like, look, let me put it to you like this. Yeah, we talked about it like this. Let me read a couple of these
Hmm.
comments.
Go ahead.
It goes, Haney is from Henderson, Nevada. He's not from Oakland. Look, man, if he's born in Oakland, California,
Who said
but he
that?
moved to Henderson, Nevada, yes, he's not established no more with Oakland. but like you're still associated with them. So, for example, while I might not be born in Mexico, I'm still Mexican American. Yes, I'm from California, but like you can't strip that identity from me.
Uh,
So, like we talked
nah,
about this in the past.
Haney's.
What I think when Crawford beat Gamboa, he was undefeated or something. By the time Pitbull beat Gamboa, he was already losing fights in a roll to a tune-up and up-and-comers. But Pitbull is a beast. Chris Colbert is an East Coast fighter. Boxing only counts in America. Did you know Colbert identifies as Mexican? He speaks Espanol, and his stepdad is Mexican, and that's why he rocks the borrachito sombrero. Yeah, I heard him mention in the past. Warp Speed Goes Sports Archives, good noon or Moro if you're in the West Coast. I don't even see that comment from Sports Archives. Oh, he goes, "You're a dumbass if you think boxing only counts in America." Look, man, I'll say this. Look, I understand that's a very Eurocentric, Americanized point of view of thinking. Oh, boxing only resides and it only counts
I
in
know
America. Listen, a
that's
lot of people
false.
told, a lot of people would say as the same thing as well. And this is Tim Su caught up in that notion as well. I need to fight in Las Vegas because if you fight in Las Vegas, you make it to Las Vegas. Look what happened to Anthony Joshua. They always put the pressure, bro. You're doing great in the UK, but you're not the guy if you don't fight in America. He fights in America in New York and gets beat by Andy Ruiz. Tim Su, they told him the same lie. If you come over here to America and you fight in Las Vegas, you've made it here. You've made it worldwide. Gets beat by Sebastian Fundora. Listen, listen. In the game of war, they're trying to do the same shit to Naoya Inoue. Come over here and fight Tank Davis because if you beat him in America, then you've made it. Fuck all that. I'm the greatest shit since sliced bread in Japan, in the UK, or in Australia. You come over here because that market doesn't exist in America anymore. You guys don't make the ratings. You guys lost Showtime and HBO. Boxing, they discontinued with you. I thought you guys were making it in America. You guys don't even have a network. Y'all come over here where I have Fox Sports lined up in Australia, where I'm getting interviewed, where I can get guys paid like Tony Harrison 3 to 5 million. That's why what's his name from Philadelphia went over there and got knocked out by Naoya anyway, because he was getting 3 million when he was making chump change and 200K fighting guys like Brandon Figueroa in Fort Worth, Texas. It ain't boxing is not made in America anymore. And guess what? If we're okay with accepting that truth, then we realize that we have to change this market. And how do we do it? But if we have that same notion, oh, it's only made in America, boxing is only great in America, then you're okay with this mediocre programming.
Yeah.
You're okay with this mediocre matchmaking, and you see no problem. And if you don't see no problem that boxing is made in America, then you can't really fix it.
Yeah, they make a living out of the club shows.
Bro, boxing America is at the downtrodden. Bro, boxing in America is ghetto boxing.
Yeah.
It's fucking at the bottom. It's not even better than Oakland A's baseball, and they don't even have a stadium next year.
Yeah, like if the fight that we went to, the Elam Smith fight versus Jaime Munguia, bro, there was professional fighters who were approachable. In Europe, they got security guards like they're like they're hot shit. I keep talking shit, but like they're like like famous, and they kind of are in their own worlds. But it's ghetto in our world because these guys are approachable and they're not like the big superstars that they would be like in Europe. And they make a living. They make a living out of the club shows. Like
Yeah,
they like
absolutely. Like, look, man, and you know what? Like in life, it's okay with that. Like,
it's
sure,
okay.
everybody
Yeah.
wants to be global. Everybody wants to be Canelo, but Canelo only fights in America and in Mexico, and that was very recent in Mexico. Could Canelo sell out in Japan? Is Canelo really a global star? And the reality is no. Could he sell out in China? Could he sell out in Canada? Could he sell out in, I don't know, fucking Atlanta? Yeah, like shit.
Yeah.
Could he sell out everywhere in the
Bro,
world?
Canelo
Maybe not.
Canelo is the
S&P. Baseball, they can. Yo, what's going on?
Do you know what the S&P 500 is?
S&P 500?
Yeah, it's like a chart that represents
Yeah,
the whole
the
market.
S&P 500 has netted me $50,000 of gains.
Okay, hold on, huh? So Canelo is pretty much the S&P 500. He represents the whole, the whole game of boxing. Like he's pretty much the standard. So like the sport only goes as far as he goes, you know, up until he retires, and then we gravitate to a new star, you know. So it's like, yeah, that's what I think about it. There's not like he's the most earned. Like, yeah, fighters gotta look at him, and that's how the pay structure is, you know,
Yeah,
in defense.
absolutely. Like when we look back at a couple of when Golden Boy and Canelo parted ways, there was some documents were leaked that Canelo made 95% of the basically the
Yeah,
income and the
pretty much.
profit of Golden Boy. Yeah, absolutely. We know that there's only a few stars in boxing that are carrying the sport. But even then, those fighters are not are misleading the general public. What I mean by that is when we go based on a every other organic business model, supply and demand, right? There is not a lot of supply in boxing, and honestly, there is not a lot of demand for it. When there is demand, these fighters want a ludicrous amount of money, damn near 25, $50 million guaranteed, when they can't even generate that themselves. So, for example, could Canelo versus David Benavidez? Canelo named his price. He was like 150 million. You know, Sam Lukowicz looked at it like, at least now we know his number. Other people are going to be like, wow, bro, you're pricing yourself out. Could Canelo, based on a supply and demand curve here in America, sell that and generate that much money? I don't think so. I don't think there would be that much demand for a David versus Canelo fight. That fight does not do 1 million pay-per-view buys. If it does do 1 million pay-per-view buys at $80 a pop, guess what? That only generated $80 million pay-per-view. Gate side, 20 million, 100. You're still short 50 million. But Saudi Arabia or the zone, if they really wanted that fight, they can pay 150 million. Two things happen there. Canelo and David Benavidez fight gets made. But now what you did is that you oversaturated the market or inflated the market by giving these two fighters unrealistic demands that from now this point on, they're not going based on the buyer and supplier curve, right? They're going to want overinflated money that doesn't exist just because somebody overpaid it. This is what happened to Teofimo Lopez when he signed with Triller. And that fight kept getting postponed and postponed because they're like, they paid him 6.2 million. And guess what? That fight was not worth more than 2. Then that fight got rescheduled left and right. Teofimo was getting postponed. He couldn't make the weight, and he gets upsetted by a guy named George Kambosos when the fight gets made by DAZN. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens when you overfeed, you know, a dog. They become lazy and lethargic. If you do the same thing with Saudi Arabia and DAZN is doing to these fighters, and what PBC did in terms of their model, all the fighters get overpaid, they don't train, and they want unrealistic demands when they didn't deserve that money in the first place, just because you manipulated the market. That's not a sustainable business model. That's why HBO left. That's why Showtime left. And that's why PBC finds himself on a new app. But if the Mexican G says that's American boxing and that's what only counts, bro, then you're okay with the shenanigans. And that's the downfall of this sport.
Yeah, we're gonna ask Devin Haney right now. He's gonna go live on his shit. I'm gonna ask him, be like, hey, you grew up in Henderson. You grew up in Henderson because I got the notification right now that he's going live. So I'm gonna just comment on his shit. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of
Ask
the
him to make a fucking boxing trading card, bro.
or how to go about it.
Well,
Cause
I
we'll
mean,
push that shit. We'll
you can
push that
go,
shit.
yeah, you can go multiple ways, bro. You can go to a
Yeah.
website called Vista Print. You know what I mean? And you can make like postcards and stuff like that, and
We need to
holographic
talk
and
about we
business cards. But I'm saying he needs to make one.
oh, got you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, not how to go about it. It's very simple how to go about it. There's many outlets, but I'm saying that he
Got
needs
you.
to find a dope ass pick.
Himself.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, I'll ask him, man. We'll ask.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
uh but
Well,
yeah,
look,
what were we saying?
fellas, I think we're all tapped out, man.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about a lot of topics, but yeah, next week Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Just so we can close it out. I mean, do you guys expect much out of that, or what?
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna surprise us. I think it's gonna be somewhat entertaining. I hope it's gonna be like one of those barn burners, you know. I kinda also wanna see Devin just whoop on Ryan Garcia and make him look amateurish, you know? Like I want him to
I
look
don't
like
think
an
that's
amateur in
going to
there, you know?
happen, bro.
Huh?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, like as in him not getting in the ring at all, or just kind
No,
of.
no, no, no. I think the fight's going to happen, but I'm just saying I don't know if Devin is going to be able to piece apart Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's going to run into some problems.
I think there's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a. I think there's gonna be so. There's gonna be some times where it's gonna be competitive. But I think in the later part of the rounds, I think Devin just gonna keep that same energy, and Ryan's gonna just outthink himself. Like he's gonna just not go. He's gonna go against some kind of game plan. Like I hope he doesn't try that shoulder roll shit. And I doubt he's gonna do it against a dude like Devin. I think he's gonna really he's Devin's gonna fill out his power, and then he's gonna be like, I got you. You know, I think he might just drop him. He might drop him in the fight. Not like knock him out, but I think he might drop him.
Yeah, I think if Luke Campbell can drop Ryan Garcia, I'm sure that Devin Haney with a good left hook of his own can drop Ryan. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this: this is the second best fighter on Devin Haney's resume, bro.
Mm.
Ryan Garcia. You
Yeah.
know, not in terms of accomplishments, but in terms of threats. You know, Ryan Garcia. There's not many prime fighters that Devin Haney has fought, right? Like Lomachenko, he wasn't in his prime, but he was still a top fucking fighter, right? Regis Prograis, he wasn't at his prime. He's like 34, 36 years old. You know, Jojo Diaz, I mean, 135 is not his weight class. Jojo, like Oscar Valdez, should be fighting in relatively way smaller divisions. Jorge Linares was also up there in age, but not too bad, you know? But what I'm saying is this. Devin has only fought really just like one legitimate threat, and that was Lomachenko, right? You can also say George Kambosos, but I'm going to say that George Kambosos was a fluke against Teofimo Lopez. I don't think he would be able to replicate results. And 9 out of 10
Me
times
too.
Teofimo beats him.
Again,
Right?
or not again, but yeah.
That Kambosos that I saw against I don't know, Mickey Bay, that Kambosos that I saw twice against Devin, that Kambosos that I saw against Maxie Hughes, that Kambosos ain't beating Teofimo. And conversely, the Teofimo that I saw against Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, hell, even Sandor Martin, George Kambosos can't beat that dude. Again, that context that I gave you with Triller and what Teofimo tried to do, that got to his head. But Devin hasn't really fought what Ryan Garcia has fought. And when Ryan Garcia fights those fighters that he's fought, like a Tank Davis, right? A prime fighter that's undefeated, I don't think Devin Haney has one prime undefeated fighter on his resume.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm thinking
Right?
about putting $30, a little $30 on Ryan.
Right? So what I'm saying is Devin hasn't really fought guys that are taller than him. Like, this is what I tried to talk about the other time. Devin has always had the advantages in the negotiations. Right? He's either taller, longer. He's basically the A side and damn near all the demands. He's basically have always the advantages, except with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has basically called the shots. If he wants to walk out, what Crawford did to Spence, he go walk out and try to negotiate a fight with Rolly, only to understand that he still has the Devin fight in his back pocket, where Devin is like, man, don't ever talk to me. Oh, fuck it. Let's fight. You know? This is going to be tricky for Devin. I would expect Devin to piece apart Ryan because, just because I just think that naturally he's the better, more professional fighter. But Ryan can match Devin's speed, like Devin can match Ryan's speed. Devin hasn't really fought many big punchers other than Jorge Linares. Jojo Diaz is not a puncher. What's his name? Lomachenko is not really a puncher. Linares is. Ryan is a puncher. He has that high speed. He's prime. I just wish he had better defense. He looks to have.
Yeah. If Ryan,
a decent chin, not the best chin, but it ain't an Amir Khan chin.
Right.
He's gonna be a good fight for Devin, bro.
Yeah. If Ryan were to win, how would you think he would win?
He ain't outboxing Devin. He would have to win by a knockout.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to knock out Devin because I'm sure that he can drop him and surprise him with a flash knockdown. I just think also Devin has more dogs than him. But if Ryan catches Devin in that type of shot that Linares caught Devin, Ryan is not going to just let Devin Haney hug him for the next 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, Devin will say, "Well, I will never fucking quit. You would have to kill me or knock me out, bro." You hugged Linares for like 9 minutes. This should have just taken away a point. That's how I know Linares was out of his prime, because he didn't have that killer instinct. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say that you have that dog in you. And then when you were under a little bit of pressure versus Lomachenko, you told your dad, he's figuring me out. So I don't know, bro. Like, this is actually a much closer fight than people anticipate. And let's make one more point. This is Devin Haney's rivalry. This is his rival. It ain't George. It ain't Teofimo. It ain't Lomachenko. It's not Shakur Stevenson.
Get
it's
out.
not
Ryan.
Get out.
Ryan Garcia.
Get out. Get out.
Yeah, I agree.
Get out.
And the odds don't really show that. The odds books say negative 900, and then Ryan Garcia plus 550, bro. And that knockout,
Wow.
that knockout, I think is
Damn.
like 800 or 1,000, somewhere in that range. So I'm like $30 on that for like $600.
$100.
Oh man.
$1.
No, yeah, well, no. $30 gets you like $300 if the knockout is like plus 1,000. But look. To be honest with you, yes, I expect Devin to beat Ryan. Like that's that. Like I mean, I don't know. Like 85% of the people have that. We're not saying anything new under the sun. What I am saying that's new under the sun is this is a good fight for Devin Haney. You see, because look, when Devin Haney fought Jojo Diaz, Ryan Garcia knocked out Javier Fortuna. You get what I'm saying? Javier Fortuna went the distance with Jojo. If Ryan Garcia were to fight Jojo Diaz, I got Ryan Garcia knocking down and knocking out Jojo Diaz. Jojo has heart in the chin, and but he's all out of shape. What happens when Ryan touches that body? Luke Campbell is better than Jojo Diaz. You get what I'm saying? And Ryan did that to Luke Campbell. You get what I'm saying? Let me see another point.
Okay, so I guess what we're saying is Ryan Garcia has a puncher's chance in a 70-30 in favor of Haney.
I'm gonna say this. 60-40.
Oh my God. Okay. Now let's talk about other stuff. This is the undercard, guys. Is it worth your $75?
What do you mean?
No, you already said who wins. No,
but you can't just say, "Oh my gosh, 70-30." Listen. Is Devin Haney? Hold on. Let me ask you this: is Devin Haney Tank Davis?
What do you mean?
Hold on. Is Devin Haney better than Tank Davis?
Yes.
Why is he better than Tank Davis?
His resume proves it. He can overcome different types of fighters at the highest levels of fights in their natural fighting weight classes without any kind of catch weights and without having to bring on baby belt holders.
Is it fair to say that Lomachenko beat Devin?
It's fair to say, yeah.
Okay. So we could acknowledge that Devin has a lot. Okay.
Yeah. But the fact that Lomachenko beat Haney does not mean that Shakur beats him.
Hold on. No, it signifies that Tank Davis would absolutely beat.
No, it doesn't. You cannot give. You're not gonna give. No way. What are you talking about?
Wait. I messed up on that Lomachenko one. Hold on, give me a second. I was going in my head. I had already mentioned Jojo Diaz. Okay, hold on. Just hold that thought. So we could arguably say that Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. Okay.
Yeah.
At least he fought him. Tank Davis ducked Lomachenko for like 10 years.
Uh-huh.
What do you think Tank Davis does to Jojo Diaz?
I don't know. He's never fought somebody like him. He's never fought in the guy that's former 3 division belt holder who's fought in the caliber of fighters that Jojo Diaz has. We don't know.
So what about
what I'm trying to say is there is no antecedents. What I'm trying to say is this: there is no antecedents. There is no kind of cross reference that you can say. This is the reason why I don't like talking about Devin Haney. Devin Haney, wait up. Before this is going to be real short. The reason I don't like talking about Devin Haney is because talking about Devin Haney is basically fantasy matchups, and I find that to be an activity tantamount to masturbation. Empty pleasure for no purpose. There's nothing there.
Listen. All right, check this out. Tank Davis has fought a guy like Devin Haney. His name is Mario Barrios. Okay.
Like Devin Haney, he said.
Mario Barrios is identical to Devin Haney. Identical. Like if you were to look at them,
Identical
they
to Devin
fight the
Haney.
same exact way. Devin being a little faster. Okay, I just want you to remember
And
that.
better proven.
Hold on. Mario Barrios might be better proven. He beat your
Okay, homie Ricky. Now this is the reason why I know you have not been. Oh my God.
Mario Barrios beat Yordenis Ugas, who Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. It's far greater than anything that Lomachenko has beaten. I just want to say that. I told you what other fighter that's similar to Jojo Diaz. I gave you Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is better than Jojo Diaz, by the way.
Okay, let me counter that with something. Devin Haney beat Regis Prograis, who arguably beat undefeated, undisputed fighter, and Josh Taylor. What's your point?
6 years after the fact.
No. Josh Taylor beat Regis Prograis when they were undefeated.
When?
And he got, what are you talking about? Like 3 years ago.
5 years ago.
Doesn't matter. He beat him when it was undefeated, and he ended up becoming undisputed against another undefeated champion, and Jose Ramirez. This is Josh Taylor, who Regis Prograis arguably beat in the eyes of many. He only lost to that guy, and guess what? Devin Haney pieced him apart.
5 years ago.
That's way better than a guy coming off of a loss against Yordenis Ugas. What's your point? What's your point?
5 years ago. You just wrote right now to the Mexican G. Well, I think when Crawford beat Gamboa, he was undefeated. So when people beat him like 5-6 years ago, he was already on the downfall and he was losing to up-and-comers.
Yeah, so that Manny Pacquiao getting beat by Yordenis Ugas, getting beat by Mario Barrios is the greatest type of detachment of credit you can possibly give Mario Barrios. What?
Pacquiao had just beaten Keith Thurman, then Ugas beat Keith Thurman. Then Ugas beat Pacquiao. Then Barrios beat, Ugas got destroyed by Arrow, but then he Barrios, bro.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
I think you guys are agreeing.
So what I'm trying to tell you is this:
they're not comparable. No.
The reason I bring all this context back is to bring it back to this. This is still a very dangerous fight for Devin Haney because Devin Haney is not Tank Davis. Okay, Devin Haney is not better than Tank Davis. Also, Ryan doesn't have the rehydration clause. There's not a catch weight. Devin has been the B-side to Ryan, in which he's never had in any other fight. You see? This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a very dangerous fight. For instance, if Ryan Garcia, let me give you another point in perspective. If Ryan Garcia had never fought in Tank and instead have fought in Devin before he fought Tank, and Ryan was undefeated, this would have it on the bookies a 50-50 fight. What has changed? Tank Davis. What's the context of the Tank Davis fight? Okay, that's the reason I bring that up.
Call me Ricky. That's ridiculous. I can't believe what I'm hearing. You're saying, is Devin Haney better than Tank Davis? And you said absolutely not. Here's the thing. If Devin Haney catch weighted, brought men from 130 up to 135, brought men from 140 down to 138 or whatever, put on these weight stipulations and fought the baby belt holders, who do you have on those wins? Devin Haney. You have Devin Haney. Devin Haney fights guys who never catch weight anybody, like Lomachenko, a guy who has been a champion at 3 weight divisions. He also fights Jojo Diaz, a guy who's been a champion in 3 weight divisions. He fights a guy like Regis Prograis, whose only loss is to a guy who became undisputed after fighting him when he was undefeated. You're going to tell me Devin Haney is a worse fighter than Tank Davis because of your fantasy, because of your imagination? Come on, man. Right now, we just gave credit to Naoya Inoue by saying he's a Hall of Famer and one of the best fighters, and that the hype is real because of his credentials, the accomplishments, the fact that he has those belts.
Because the X and O's.
X's and O's. Here we go with the X's and O's. The only X's and O's is the ones that have the T's and the I's that you can cross and point over. And the only one that has that is Devin Haney.
He's been undisputed in 2 weight classes. Naoya, bro, Jojo wasn't. I don't even think.
Guess what? If you're gonna go that route, Devin Haney's been undisputed at 135. Guess who hasn't? Tank Davis. What's your point?
We're talking about Inoue. We're talking about Inoue.
No, we're talking. No, we're just talking about Inoue to give you a point of comparison
Yeah, I
that you're
know,
trying to
and
say
that's what we're
something.
doing. Also, this. Just look at this comparison. They've both Devin, like what's his name, old boy and Tank Davis. They both fought Yuruki's Gamboa. All right. What happened in those fights? It's the same opponent, bro. It's the same opponent. Devin outboxed Gamboa, and Tank was, basically, I thought it was a bad stoppage, but because Gamboa was in the 12th round or whatever the case may be, but he basically knocked out Gamboa. He dropped him multiple times. I don't think Devin ever dropped Gamboa once. So what I am saying, okay,
Are we talking about Gamboa who had one leg and who Tank Davis still couldn't stop?
Listen,
is that
we know the
guy you're talking about?
Hold on. We know the bottom of his sole of the foot, like it was exposed, it was torn, right? But dude, if you ever torn your Achilles heel, you can't even move. He didn't have that shit torn, bro. Come on. Like that's just a bad I don't know. I don't ever think we ever saw the reports or surgery and Gamboa showed the pics that he was in the doctors. They just said that he had a torn Achilles, but it could have just been a ripped sole of the shoe, bro. Like we know athlete player who basically hopped and in the Super Bowl and he fucking fell to the ground. Did he ever get back up? And you mean to tell me Gamboa with the same injury can fucking fight Tank Davis and move around in circle? Come on, bro.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like, come on. Like, that shit ain't happen. But, that's what people want to talk about in state. That didn't happen, bro. I just gave you an example of the same injury and how fighters or people or athletes can't even move.
So okay, so what you're still concluding is that the guy who fought the other guy with a working sole on this shoe, Devin Haney, still outclassed Yuriorkis Gamboa. And that's the only comparison. A fighter that's already washed and both of them beat, to say that Tank Davis is better than Devin Haney, that's a weak argument, homie Ricky. I demand better of you, bro. I demand better of you.
What I was saying is this. The only thing that's changed, like I've tried to tell you, the reason I'm giving you all this context is because if Ryan didn't relinquish every single right to the PBC and Tank Davis to make that mega fight happen, and he was undefeated and he was going to fight Devin Haney before he fought Tank, we would be looking at this fight as a 50-50 fight. Okay? But because a couple of things have happened, but the biggest thing that happened was Ryan getting pieced apart, and we found out that he has a little bit of quit in him against Tank Davis.
Just the fact that he has quit?
No, because
Devin Haney's non-quit? To Devin Haney's non-quit.
I gave you another comparison. When Devin Haney barely got touched,
God,
he hugged Jorge Linares for the next 9 minutes.
He survived.
Hold on. Ryan Garcia, when he got dropped by Tank Davis in the second round, he didn't go out and hug Tank Davis for the next fucking 5 rounds. He tried to fucking fight.
Do you remember that the last round, Devin Haney recovered at the last half of the round at the 12th, and he started to piece apart Linares again? Are you forgetting that? Just because he learned to survive, guess what? He still didn't quit. He didn't quit. You see what I'm saying? One guy quit.
Undefeated fighter like Tank was, which is why Ryan had struggles with him.
One guy quit.
Listen.
And the other guy hasn't. Right? One guy has fought in way better fighters and has been a champion and has fought in champions, current, defending, and former Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia has never fought one. Not one defending champion, not one former champion. Not one. The only time he faced a champion, and this is a baby belt holder in Tank Davis, he quit on the fourth. What was it, on the fourth, 6th round?
7th.
Come on. Now you're trying to say it's a 50-50. The only time it's a 50-50, guys, is in the negotiations. In that sense, Ryan Garcia has a 55-45. Otherwise, it's a 70-30. Ryan Garcia only has a puncher's chance. He's the Deontay Wilder of 135, 140, and 147 pound division. He's a welterweight. He's a He's a lightweight. He's a junior welterweight, and he's the worst fighter out there. He's a one-trick pony who has a bunch of power that can turn over a fight, and you're gonna bet money that he's gonna do it against one of the toughest tested fighters in the current boxing game. I hope you lose your money. Simple as that.
Bro, listen. I didn't say. I'm saying that what I'm listen. You're not listening. You listening? Listen.
Yeah, I'm listening.
This is a good fight, bro. It's a good fight. Is it a
Yeah.
pay-per-view fight? I don't like it.
No,
You know,
I
as a
don't.
pay-per-view fight, I like it for $45, $55
Mhm.
because you can't really justify me paying, I don't know, 85 to 100
I
for a
think
guy
they dropped it to 75, homie.
that okay,
Still not enough.
that's still too overpriced.
It's too
Okay,
much.
like you mean to tell me Devin and Ryan is on par with a Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez for $75 a pop? Absolutely not. Like sometimes
Hell no.
like you are. This is a pay-per-view event, but it's for $35 or $40, and that's
Yeah.
okay because it's still pay-per-view money. But what I'm saying is like I'm not going to buy a Skechers shoes for $150 compared to an Air Force Nikes. Like it just like nah, bro, you can't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Are you gonna pay for it though? I mean, I am. You
No,
know, my
I got.
Nah, because you guys did that to me last time. You guys were like, oh, I'm going to pay for Tim Sui. And then I'm the only one that ended up paying for it.
you didn't ask for any
You
money.
don't pay for Ryan. You're like, I ain't going to pay for Ryan and Devin. Hell nah, bro.
Well, you didn't pay. You didn't ask for money. You
Who's
assumed
the
it all. You know, I'm the first one to offer to pay for it,
Well, this
and then when I show up to the household, there it is, already paid for.
This is the thing, though.
Dude, you asked me like 10 times, hey, are you streaming it? Are you streaming it?
Yeah, because if you were gonna stream it, I was gonna pay for it.
Bro, stop, bro.
Hey,
Stop.
So-
hey, but this
Bro,
card,
stop.
with
Listen,
this card though, with this
Mm.
card, it's just not worth it because like we don't. Do you guys know the undercard?
Yeah.
I know
Arnold Barbosa versus Sean McComb.
What
Beck,
else?
Beck Demir, the Bully versus the Dombe, and
Okay.
Scrappy Ramirez versus Jimenez.
It's just not worth it.
I know those names, but it's what you may call it. And that's not a pay-per-view card, bro.
Nope.
Like, look, if you gave me Jose Ramirez versus Arnold Barbosa in the
Oh, yeah.
event, hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah.
You give me JoJo. No, you already gave.
Nah,
you
not
already gave
JoJo.
me JoJo Diaz versus Cepeda. But if you gave me like Cepeda versus who else does he have at 135? Not Duarte. Let's say
Andy Cruz.
Ooh, exactly. If you gave me Andy Cruz versus Cepeda, bro, those three cards justify. Then you can put any fuck about name that you want to put on the undercard. But Ryan and Devin, the numbers, the people buying the tickets are letting you know this is not what we want at this inflated money, bro.
Yeah.
You guys aren't worth like this. Not what you guys are worth. You guys aren't worth that top dollar on pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view fight, just not at those prices. People want to
40?
go to the fight, but just not at 10 grand a pop ringside. Like you guys aren't worth that much, bro.
Bro,
Yeah.
the Ngannou AJ fight was less, bro. It was like $40, bro. Like that
Really?
was way. Yeah, it was way
No,
cheaper. Wasn't
no,
it? I'm tripping?
no. Oh, the pay-per-view, yes, but not the seats.
No. I'm talking about pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Pay-per-view
40
prices.
bucks. 40
Yeah,
bucks.
That's what I'm
40.
saying. Like, bro, that's Ngannou. That's a main. That's that's an exhibition match or whatever the case may be. Still
Yeah.
hella popular, but dude, the main event, the co-main event was pretty good too. Big Bang Zane and
Yeah.
boys, but what's the other guy's name? Big Bang Zane and Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And then the third fight was pretty good too. And then I think they had
Bivol.
Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball.
Dubois,
It was Bivol.
Oh yeah, Dubois against Cheeseburger.
Baby Anderson, Baby Miller,
Yeah, Cheeseburger Miller, bro. Hell yeah,
Yeah,
like
and then-
that's a good card.
Cheeseburger Miller.
And then Bivol fought too.
Yeah, he fought.
So
What's
what I'm
his
saying
name?
is, if that's a $40 event, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney is $40 too, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're gonna find out the hard way when that fight grosses under $125,000.
Horrible.
Yeah,
Because-
it's bad, guys. It's bad. It's bad.
Like
it's
that's horrible,
Man,
bro.
but you would think that they would learn, bro, and you would think more of Oscar. Like, bro, why are you putting it? Ah, man.
no,
It's
guys.
probably
Let me
the
ask you
dumbest-
something.
It's probably
Oh,
the
yeah,
dumbest move. The dumbest move
Eddie
ever,
Hearn.
bro. That I've ever heard of as far as a pay-per-view event. The dumbest move.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just-
guys. Let me ask you something. Is it not? Here's the one question, right? They're saying it's because Devin Haney is not a pound for pound. I mean, a pay-per-view fighter. Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys think the reason that this fight is being affected on its sales expectations is because of Ryan Garcia A having demonstrated quit and then becoming a compromised fighter after his first loss, or does it have to do with the fact that therefore in everybody understanding that Ryan Garcia is nowhere deserving of a fight? Um, to
Well,
undisputed. Oh, I mean, a one belt holder against Devin Haney, or do people just don't like Devin Haney so much that they won't even support Ryan Garcia?
bro, because
Now,
Ryan Garcia's following is increasing, bro. So it's like it's
yep.
not matching up. Like people still want to see Ryan, but I think it's because the
They
fact
don't want
that
to see him
this
lose.
they don't want to see him lose. Now it's like they know that he's gonna lose, but he's over here trying to put up a I don't know what he's trying to do. Honestly, he's trying to play mind games with us. And
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's the reason why all of these things aren't selling. The reason why people don't give Ryan Garcia a chance. The bookies don't give Ryan Garcia a chance. Nobody's giving Ryan Garcia a chance is because of Tank Davis,
hmm
right? And because Ryan gave up so much leverage against Tank Davis, I'm saying circle back. If that fight does not happen, which it did, but if that fight does not happen, everyone is tuning in to Ryan versus Devin. Both
yep,
undefeated fighters. People are looking at this as a 50-50 fight. Now, in today's time, I'm still saying it's a 60-40 fight because Devin hadn't fought a dude like Ryan Garcia. That's
yeah,
all I'm saying. He
yeah,
hadn't
and that
seen a guy like that. And
the
when he,
left,
which
yeah,
was kind of like a Jorge Linares, remember, a lot of people questioned Jorge Linares early in his career. He had taken a couple of defeats, rejuvenated his career with Salas. Then, as he got a little older, we found out that Linares had a lot of quit in him. He quit after beating as he was beating this Russian, and then he quit. He
Loma,
got hurt to the body. With Lomachenko, I guess I give him that, but he could have stood up. But why
yeah,
do people give Linares the benefit versus Lomachenko and are saying Ryan is a quitter when the same body punch landed with Tank Davis, who's a fucking puncher?
right,
This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. The only reason why this isn't going well for Ryan and Devin, or why people aren't giving Ryan a chance, is because that Tank Davis fight happened. That's when we started questioning and finding out, oh, Ryan has quit. But no one questions Linares when he got dropped by Lomachenko. But give the credit to Devin. Okay, fine, fine, fine. But it doesn't, I'm giving you guys equitable answers and comparisons. But,
right.
at least Speed is saying, like, bro, what the no, hell nah, bro. I'm telling you,
it's a
Tank
good one. That's
Davis,
a good one. That point you made is good.
hold on. Tank Davis is the reason why this fight is turned to shit. This event has turned to shit because
Right.
now nobody believes in Ryan. And
hmm
Ryan's focus of like the truth, it's like, bro, Devin is silent. He's quiet. He's working and training and sleeping. And you're over here trying to learn Spanish with Instagram models.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, like you see, Devin's dad's the one that's
Where's your
doing the
focus?
talking. Weapon.
No. What I'm saying is like, where's Ryan's focus? What were we saying
Right.
about Bill Haney's father?
Yeah, you see, Bill's the one that's actually talking for Devin, and that's cool. That shows that he has a strong support system. But where's Ryan's parents kind of speaking on his behalf?
I've
You
not
know?
seen nothing.
Yeah. So it's like, come on, bro, protect your fucking son, because he still has a left hook and he still has a chance. I mean, he's gonna make weight. It looks like so. There's a chance, you know. So I mean, where's his parents at? You know, like I feel like Devin feels the same way as his dad, but he doesn't decide to say any of those things. He has his dad say it for him, you know. So it's like, bro, like kind of play that role, like kind of play the, don't lose any of your sponsors, because I think he's already lost a few in like Gatorade and some big. Oh no, actually he lost his Gatorade his Gatorade shit advertisement deal because of his Tequila 1800 uh partnering up with, so I think that's why it fucked it avoided that or something like that. But yeah, no, I think he's just nah, he lost that old man. It kind of he lost his leverage, bro. Nobody thinks he's that guy, and I think he's gonna dig himself into a little bit of a hole by taking this L with Devin, depending on how he looks.
Yeah.
If he hurts Devin, if he hurts Devin, they're gonna the reaction from a lot of these people are gonna be like, we want to see it again. We want to see if Devin can last another 12 rounds. and then that's when it probably becomes a success. But they got to start loading up that undercard if they want a rematch, you know, because this is a flop, and it's a lot of
Huge
people
flop.
lost. People lost money on this fucking fight already because, or the promoters lost money. I'm pretty sure because of this. You know,
Yeah,
they
I
they
agree,
they
man.
shouldn't be expecting the influx of money coming in from like all these people. You know, like it's an unsold out event. The pay per view prices or the pay per view buys aren't that high. So it's like it's hard to see an event do good at this point. At this point, they're just trying to cut their losses.
And also, very good point. And also, to a fault, to Ryan Garcia's fault, and respect to him, fought Tank, Duarte, and Devin Haney, right?
Hmm.
Like when people are telling him, bro, you should not be fighting Devin Haney. You should pull out, or people are expecting you to pull out. He's showing you that, like, I can promote the out of this event. He's promoting the snot out of this event with any way possibly thing that he can. You know, giving out raffle tickets for Birkin bags and trunks and gloves signed by him, talking about, you know, real important issues, you know, calling out the biggest names with the most momentum and things of that nature. Like he's creating wavelengths and sound bites and, you know, like he's in everybody's like outlet and outfit.
Hmm.
But that's where it comes down to the focus. But to a fault, I think Ryan is dumb enough where it can work at his benefit. Where bro, just go out there and if he believes, and I'm sure that he does, that he could beat Devin Haney because he beat him in the amateurs. If that's what he's holding on to, maybe he's
Yeah.
gonna be for a rude awakening, but he might land a few punches and boom.
You said if he's you said if he's dumb enough, he's like,
Yeah,
come
like
on, dumbass,
honestly, like you know,
go
because
go.
sometimes you know fighters overthink themselves. Like for example, Loma when he
True.
fought Teofimo, he was so calculative that he started
Yeah.
him 6 rounds. But if he was just dumb enough and just bang with Teo, you might have knocked him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No, I feel you.
you might have overwhelmed him. But if you just overthink too much, then you become hesitant. You don't let your
Right.
hands go. You're like, oh
Right.
man, I'm supposed to not get hit and you know block the jab and do all this. What coach was telling me, oh, and if I find myself in this situation up against the ropes, no, just go in there, guns blazing, and next thing you know, you might shoot up the whole damn thing, and you got bodies left and right, and Devin's on the ground. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So to a fault, if Ryan just plays it dumb, bro, he might have a lot of success because that's what he was doing versus Tank. He won the
Hmm.
first round, was winning the second, had
And
Tank fucking scared, and then boom, Tank counters them with boom, and then fucking Ryan was like, "Oh fuck, that's
yeah,
reality." Like,
yeah, yeah.
shit,
And
I can't do that.
you're just saying in regards of what Ryan already knows, because at this point, there's only so much he can learn. At this, like he's trying to cut weight right now. His game plan is already set in stone. Like you cannot become a different fighter overnight. Like you're gonna have to. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like he's gonna have
You get what
to.
I mean?
Yeah, he's gonna have to work with what he got. With
Yeah,
you know.
it's like, listen, Ryan, he's very young, you know, where he can learn a lot of tricks up his sleeve
Hmm.
because he's relatively young. He's got the athleticism, he's got the hand speed, he's got the power. But do you have the discipline? Okay, and discipline. I believe that he's got the mental focus in terms of like being in shape and looking the part. But do you
Hmm.
have the discipline, right, to fucking work on your defense and not
Just
just do offensive power? Yeah, I know you have the discipline from a physical standpoint to work out, run your 10, 15 miles, you know, promote the event. Yeah, I know that you can do that part. You're great. You have a good marketing understanding of what sells and what people want to hear and be flashy and shit like that. But can you stay disciplined to work on your defense, not just your offense? Because this sport, you have to be good at 5 things. But if you have your focus on your offense and your defense, I feel like Ryan's got the offense down. You add a couple of feints here, a couple of more jabs, double up, you know, the jab to shoot the right, double up the jab to shoot the uppercut, double up the jab, slip and throw a counter left hook. I'm sure that you can do those things. I know that that's easy for you, but the defense, right? If you can master the defense, then you can beat a lot of these fighters. But if you just think that, oh, what's been working for me is just this one left hook and a decent right hand here and there, it's not going to work against the elite level athletes. You know what I'm saying? The Mexican G goes, Ryan just has to drop Devin Haney once for his stock to go back up. Nobody expects him to win.
That's
And,
true.
and that's the truth. That's the bona fide reality. It's like, that's the standard of how low it has to go. But again, if that's just the expectation, if that's all Ryan has to do, right?
Then he
Then
already lost.
already won this fucking fight in that sense,
Yeah. Yep. That's
right?
what I was gonna
Because
say.
look how people were praising Rolly Romero. Oh, he's outboxing Tank Davis. Yeah, but this is a 12-round fight. Fuck the 6 rounds. He got hit with one punch and he got dropped, and that was
I
it.
think, yeah, I think if he didn't show that boxing ability, that little boxing ability that he had, he wouldn't have gotten the Cruz fight. You know. So it's like you're trying out for every single fight to get another fight. You know.
I'm gonna say
So
this. It's just I don't want to think hypothetically like too much.
good.
Like, well, what if Ryan drops Devin Haney? Like what? No, listen. I will say this: if Ryan were to drop Haney, he would do something that Vasily Lomachenko, Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz, Riguez Prograis, George Kambosos couldn't do. And to the Mexican G standpoint, maybe I should backtrack on what I said in my last statement. Ryan just has to drop Haney once for stock to go up. That would be pretty fucking miraculously. Like that would be a miracle because we're not expecting him to even be able to do that because those other 10 fighters that I just named, they weren't able to. So if somehow Ryan was able to do that, of course his stock should go up because Lomachenko and Linares and all those guys couldn't drop Devin. Now they were
Mm.
able to hurt and put a little bit of fear into Haney, but if Ryan were to drop Haney, yeah, I would damn near hope his stock would go up because, like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, you did some shit that those other legends that we revere so highly of, they weren't able to do. And now imagine if you were with Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. Imagine if you were focused and not coming off giving all those demands and leverage to Tank Davis and the PBC. What if Ryan does do the inevitable and does hurt and drop Haney? That's pretty fucking incredible. Like, salute to you, Ryan. Like, fuck, bro. You are the ultimate multitasker that you can promote and go against war against the 1%, the Illuminati, and still beat an undisputed pound for pound fighter. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a hypothetical.
And here's the thing: the best, the most valuable thing that Ryan Garcia brings to the sport of boxing is the tale that he will leave behind. Right? The most that I took from what you guys just talked about is imagine what could have been. Imagine that Ryan Garcia, who's already fought Devin Haney 6 times as an amateur before, having split those fights 3-3. Imagine Ryan Garcia, who is now a fighter who's never fought in the champion, not even a former champion, a fighter who has quit in him, a fighter who changed his fighting style to what people are calling the silly shell, a fighter who is catch weighting smaller fighters, bringing them up from 135 to 143, fighting as high as 147, and just calling it a catch weight, unofficially, a welterweight. A guy who he should arguably be a 50-50 fight because they have antecedents, they have history together. Imagine if he had been dedicated, if he had taken his opportunities, fought for them, stayed in the ring, stopped with the BSery, and just took himself serious, his God-given talents, and exploited them. But in the case of Devin Haney, we don't have to imagine. In the case of Devin Haney, we see what happens when you take yourself seriously, when you're dedicated to your sport, when you're away from the BSery, when you don't have to let people imagine for you what could have been because you made it a reality. The greatest value Ryan Garcia has is the fact that he coulda, shoulda, woulda been something. And right now, all we have to do is cross our fingers and hope and imagine that this guy can knock out a guy who's been studious, laborious, dedicated, has kept his nose clean, and respected the sport of boxing, Devin Haney. And we have on the opposite side, Ryan Garcia, a fighter who's taken it laxed, has disrespected the sport of boxing and exploited his charisma for the better part of recompense and getting shots he should never have gotten. This is the greatest value that Ryan Garcia has. The fact that we will look back at his tenure in the sport of boxing, his resume, and say what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened.
Or maybe they can make a song out of it like John Lennon did with Imagine. Imagine all the people. Nah. I understand, bro. Yeah, bro. It's gonna be interesting, bro. Hey, Ryan Garcia. Um, yeah, he's a funny guy, bro. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. He's a funny guy. Like I'm not here to be like, oh, he's gonna do the in the most incredible, craziest thing. Nah, man. I just think for the sake of the sport, if Ryan were to drop Devin Haney, salute to you, bro. Like we know what you could have been, or what we imagine that you could have been. But I will say this: for the good of the sport and for the name of the sport, Devin Haney, I hope he beats Ryan Garcia, because Devin is that guy that looks to be what we want boxing to look like. Fight the best, pursue the best fights, the tough fights. Ryan will make the popular fights happen and circumvent. And then there's a lot of shenanigans. He'll belittle promoters. Devin Haney doesn't talk bad about Top Rank. Devin Haney doesn't talk bad about Oscar De La Hoya and Devin Haney. He doesn't
About
talk bad
anybody.
about Eddie Hearn or anybody. He just does business, shuts his mouth, lets his dad speak, and then beats everybody's ass. That's kind of what we would want Ryan Garcia to do. Let Oscar De La Hoya be the mouthpiece. But no, Ryan Garcia goes on Twitter rants. He backtracks on words. Like there's no code, there's no honor, there's no omerta with Ryan Garcia. He's all over the place. We
Calling
just
out.
talk about, oh, what amazing hand speed that he's got. Listen, bro. Ryan just wants to live the best life that he possibly could while making a lot of money doing so. Chasing girls, badass cars, badass clothing. That's cool. And that's what he is. So he's here to maximize his profit for a short amount of time, not really caring about legacy other than the money aspect of it. Where Devin looks to do both. Where Canelo has done both. So for the goodness of the sport, we would need Devin Haney to win and knock out Ryan Garcia and try to end the boxing of Ryan Garcia. But as we know, Ryan has already stated his intentions. He wants to fight Jake Paul. He wants to fight Logan Paul. He wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. He wants to fight rematch Tank Davis, where Devin is like, let me fight all those guys. You don't hear Ryan Garcia versus Subriel Matias ever happening, but Devin might have to fight Subriel Matias. Devin might have to fight Teofimo Lopez. And for the sake of the goodness of the sport, we need those fucking matches to happen. They're not going to gross out 1 million pay-per-view buys, like Devin or, Ryan versus Tank did. But honestly, we don't need the sport to do that. As long as we can get a consistency of good level of fighting, that's more better than any shenanigans that Ryan brings to the table. If you want paparazzi following fighters, if you want making headlines and this is clickbait and all this stuff, and Ryan Garcia goes on these tirades, then Ryan Garcia is the guy that you want, and that's what you want boxing. But if you want boxing to have a structure, an organized schedule, camaraderie, a building, a union for the goodness of the sport, then we can't really root for Ryan. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I'm about to hop off, guys, but I will say this one last thing. I know you guys are saying that Ryan Garcia is hyping up this fight, and that the only reason that there's even any kind of eyes on this upcoming fight this Saturday is because of Ryan Garcia. There is some truth to that. I have not seen anything from Golden Boy Promotions. I've not seen anything by Matchroom. I know that Matchroom only partially deals with Devin Haney at this moment. He's operating as a free agent at the current moment, but I've not seen nothing. But I will say this. If you guys think talking about a man being fondled by another man is starting a fight in the sport of boxing, where we are manly, we don't condone that kind of effery. If you guys think that sells a fight, you'll see it when this fight tanks. We want to hear how violent you are. We want to hear how you're gonna knock this guy out. We don't want to hear about who's partying who with who in another pool party. We don't care about that. Keep that away from our sport. Let's take it serious. Show that severity in the ring. And Ryan Garcia, please shut the hell up. Warp speed us out.
All right.
What do you think, Joe? What do you think, bro? I agree.
What about the whole Ryan shit? Yeah, no, I think Ryan just needs to calm his mind really. I think there's ways to express yourself. I don't think he needs to be holding like secrets or anything if it's bugging him. I think he needs to have like the right people to like talk to him about shit like that. Um because I know we got friends like that used to act like Ryan, and in reality they just needed somebody to talk to, and yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like just having the right people around him. Because it looks like he's just hanging out with models and shit that he barely met a couple months ago, type of shit. And it's like, bro, you need people who you've known for a while, or at least people you have good connections with, at the least. So yeah, it's just shit like that. Just shut up, Ryan. Like have your dad talk for you, have him say your opinions. Like don't have like just like how Bill's doing it. I just like how Bill and Devin are, like they're they're representing the game correctly, and Bill knows that he can say whatever the fuck he wants to an extent. He still needs to represent himself for the Haneys and for his son obviously, but he's saying everything for Devin, and I know it, bro. I know whatever Bill says is what Devin thinks, but it's just, that's pretty much like a publicist,
Yeah.
that's what your publicist is supposed to do. And yeah, no, I love it, bro. It's just the Ryan, there's a lot of potential with some of these fighters, but it's all fucking mental. It's all mental, bro. And it's just you gotta be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is how a world champion is, and this isn't how a world champion is. Like that's what I realized. You gotta be able to critique yourself correctly. So yeah, now I think Ryan just lost, bro. He's just lost. I hope he turns it around because kind of boxing, he's a big name, so boxing kind of needs him. We need him to like propel the sport, because he's connected to some big names and shit like that. So yeah, no, I hope he changes.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll look at it like this, bro. Like, if Ryan Garcia is this loose of a cannon, right? Like, I'm sure his mom and I'm sure his dad have reached out to him. Like, hey, bro, like, what are you saying, bro? Like, why are you sticking in your nose in somebody else's business? Why are you saying all this vulgar language? Why are you doing this with certain women and breaking up with certain women and doing all this stuff? Like, bro, you're a loose cannon right now, right? Like, no one is giving you the truth to this information, bro. You're quoting guys like Alex Jones that lost all credibility and got sued X, Y, and Z, because you want to speak a little bit of truth, right? And in the midst, you're breaking a lot of ties, you're losing deals. Yeah, sure, you're being clickbait and videos and your headlines for all these channels and these outlets, but it's like, yeah, bro, like kind of like Speed said, like, bro, just shut up. Same thing with Rolly Romero, bro, just stay quiet, bro. You guys are
Yeah,
just here for a little moment, and you guys will not stand. Your legacy will not be remembered. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah,
Um,
they're only on camera for a certain part of their days, and they decide to use that time to, let's say, the most ridiculous things, and it's like, bro, this fame isn't going to be around forever. These things are going to be on the internet forever now. Your facial expression, the way you look, the way you talk, everything. So it's like he's gonna look at himself in the future and like he's like, damn, I gotta like cover myself up because that shit's pretty obvious that some what was wrong with me, you know. And it's just the way you carry yourself, It's just your character, bro. Like, what are you gonna do when no one else is looking? So I think, yeah, he just needs to handle his shit correctly, act like an adult, really, because it seems like he hasn't like grown up, and hasn't really put other people's opinion or not feelings, but like, yeah, opinion, like, into consideration. He's just blabbering shit. Like there's some nervous energy. Like he's either that fucking nervous or he's just kind of like not handling the limelight like the best.
yeah, that's
So
actually a really good point. Like, yeah, I don't think he's handling great at all. Like, hell no.
Yeah, nah, that's what I was thinking.
That's very good point. That 40 million really got to his head. Like he feels like he's untouchable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, we're gonna see, bro. We're gonna see for sure. Um, you got anything else that you wanted to add, or is that about it, brother?
Nah, man, that's it. We've been live for 4 hours, bro.
I know that's crazy. That's
It's been
crazy.
months. It's been months.
Yeah, this is I didn't even know we still had it in us, bro. Shit.
Yeah. You working today? Is that why?
Yeah, I'm working today, but I get off like in an hour, bro. So it should be
Oh, for
pretty
sure.
good. It's starting to rain. I had a couple of plans to just like I don't know, like work on these cars and stuff, but maybe not today. But yeah, Drew. On that
All right,
note,
man.
brother, have a good Sunday, man. Thank you guys for coming in and tuning in. Same thing with you, Mexican G, Vince Vargas, and you guys for giving us your space and your time, just so we can talk a little bit of boxing, man. But on that note, guys, have a good weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace, Drew.